investigating the Argentinian meme coin disaster known as Libra. If you don't know, the president of Argentina posted publicly supporting this meme coin, and subsequently it has all crashed and people have wondered where the money is, with $100 million seeming to go missing. Now,
keep in mind as we watch this story, I'm very excited for this live. I did a live earlier today. I was distracted. My boss called me in the middle of the live. How dare you, ma'am? No, she doesn't like to be called ma'am. But now I'm free. I've got the kids in bed and I'm free to think and focus on what the hell is going on. As we watch this, keep in mind, Javier Milei has an undergrad degree in econ and 2 master degrees in econ. So this is egregious on different levels if he didn't know what the hell was going on. Let's go through it. We're watching it through Coffeezilla. This is an epic interview. Let's get into it.
In touch with the key players in this, trying to get answers. And what you're about to hear is an hour-long interview with Hayden Davis, who is the main guy behind the launch and a lot of the token decisions. He currently sits with $100 million in his possession that he's trying to find out what to do with.
Oh, wait, what did you say? He ended up with, just by happenstance, all the money. Like, he got the bag.
You will discover through the course of this call that it is not the first time we have been talking. I have been trying to communicate with him for, as I said, the last 24 to 48 hours. And this is not the interview for like pushing from my view, because I wanted to get information. I feel like the biggest thing we're missing is answers. And so I was just listening a lot of this call. I do think we got some incredible admissions, but I wanted to say it's not my characteristic, like, scammer. And that was by design. The guy was very skittish from the beginning. And so I didn't feel like that was an appropriate kind of reaction.
Very smart, bro. And I like that he broke it down. A lot of people who don't do interviews don't understand, like, different discussion. This is not a debate. That's what he's saying.
Everyone's going to have their opinion on this guy either way based on what you hear. But I thought a more like neutral approach, just letting this guy talk. It is the first time he's talked since he issued like a statement on Twitter. It was like a minute long and it wasn't received very well. So I wanted to give him the chance to kind of dump all the information out at once. The interview starts abruptly because he starts with some off the record stuff that I had to cut out. But yeah, hopefully this sheds some light on what's going on.
I'll just start. I can just start talking about certain things. One of the issues with Libra and what we try
hold
and
on.
avoid.
I just want to know, can we consider this part on the record? Because I don't want to include the stuff about, all that kind of stuff. That's not like anyone's business. I appreciate you sharing that context. The Libra stuff is sort of the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to talk about.
The Libra stuff is fine. Like the Libra stuff is fine.
Okay, go ahead.
So like one of the issues with Libra, right? I mean, there's so many details in this story, but one of the issues with Libra is when you launch on Meteora, right? And you're trying to avoid all these snipers. There's not like
okay, the conversation jumps in assuming that and this is a channel that talks Bitcoin finance and all that stuff, but I'm not one of those. So I just have a tertiary, very minimal understanding of this stuff. So if you know this stuff, help me out in the chat. My understanding is that we're talking about meme coins. And the way that I look at meme coins, I used to collect baseball cards back in the day. I have sets still at home right now at my parents' crib. And what this is a digital video game. These currencies, these meme coins especially, but basically all of the Bitcoins, they're cryptocurrencies, but they're just like collecting baseball cards. So you might have Fleer or Dunruss or Topps, and they all have the same type of function. It's a baseball card, but they're just different brands. So you have a meme coin that comes out and people voluntarily buy the meme coin. When you go and buy a pack of baseball cards, you might hope that one of them's a good card and you keep it and then it's worth something, but that's not really why you buy the baseball cards because you like baseball, probably. I mean, everybody has their own reasons, but you understand what I mean. It's a baseball card. It wouldn't be smart to be buying just random packs of baseball cards hoping to get rich. That's not really the idea. Even though I used to open up the books and look to see how much are they worth now, a year ago, 2 years ago, or whatever. I got the rookie card of this person, so that you're buying into something that isn't real. It's not. It's a joke. That's why they call it meme coins. Doge is a meme coin, and Elon has taken that to. You see, a lot of our life is becoming these video games. This is a video game currency. They're turning life into a real life video game. And it's not backed by anything. So it's pure speculation. It's pure just kind of gambling, pure kind of fun, but there's corruption. And let's get back to the clip there. So I'll get into it more on what the crypto stuff is. I might get into more in that.
There's this whole context around like shitloads of insiders. That's not what's going on. What's going on is you have these, I don't know how they're doing it, but these expert snipers, like guys that are clipping 1.7, 2 million, 800,000, 1.2 million into the charts. And then what you have is because on big launches, all this volume is going to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, fuck, this guy, like at one point, one of the top wallets, which for some reason still hasn't sold a bunch. I don't understand why, but had $57 million, right? And had a 5 billion market cap, or 4.5, which is what
so he's on the blockchain. So when you do the transactions, one of the benefits of these digital currencies, just think of it not even like a baseball card. Think of it like we're playing GTA and you have money in the video game. That's literally what it is. And imagine if in GTA, I haven't played it in a while. I don't know if it has this, but it probably could in the future. A blockchain, which is basically just a log of the transactions. It doesn't have the names of the people. Like you don't put your first and last name and your social security number on the blockchain, but it has identifiers. So you can see, and he's saying, I'm looking at it, and the coin has been rug pulled, meaning the value's gone to zero. Basically, it's not worth anything anymore. This happened to the Hawk coin. Amber Rose has done this twice. All of them are a little bit different, though. But so he's saying, why would you still have this many coins if the rug got pulled? And I think since this aired, it looked like they did another rug pull where they kind of bounced it up and then it dropped again. But let's get back. That's what he's talking about. He can see, he doesn't know the names of the people, but he can see what's happening.
Libra was at. That's still going to crush the chart. It's not like that's 5 billion. It's not like that's $4.5 billion. So then you have to make a real-time decision where you're like, okay, do I pull some of the do I swap some of the liquidity out to protect the floor, knowing that I know that there's more marketing plans coming? Or do I just let the chart get crushed? Right. And that's what happens every single one of these launches. That's what happens, where it's like 3 to 10 guys get these massive chunk. They're not good snipers, right? They're all bad snipers. They're just looking to unload their whole position. You can't track it. You can't find it. It doesn't matter if you subpoena it. It doesn't, like, it takes forever. It doesn't work. And so every launch, right, this happens. Now, what happened with Libra?
So I think what he's saying there is, say I want to do one of these. These are scams. These are quick Ponzi schemes in a way. If I want to do that, there's no transparency from my starting position, I think is what he's saying. I think once it starts, you can see it, but he doesn't know the full story of what happened because they're insider trading. That's what happened with the Hawk stuff. That's what happens every time. It's the people who started up. They are the ones that profit off of it. And you can't tell. I don't think you can tell their starting position. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Specifically, which I'm happy to share, even though Javier and his team have told me that there's a pretty substantial interview coming tomorrow that'll be live on TV. I don't think that's like super publicly known, but Like they're like he's going to basically clear up A, me, and then B, Libra as the project, because he's obviously under scrutiny. But basically what happened was when it launched, our goal was, okay, can we collect enough liquidity, which again, people can say we're pieces of shit or not, but that the goal was to connect enough liquidity because Milei was going to do another video. And then there were some other, I won't name them, but there were some other.
Wow, so much stuff in this interview. Milei was going to do another video. Steven Longoria from X says meme coins are gay. It's, yeah. I mean, but anything, if you don't know what you're doing, then it could be dangerous as far as you losing your money.
They're high level people that were going to interact, post, etc., market the video, right? So our goal was, can we take enough liquidity off to get all the snipers out, or at least control them, so that when the chart dips down, it's not going to crush the whole project. Have Milei do the second round of videos, and then inject all the capital back in, or at least the vast majority, and create like a mega Trump launch, basically. And I don't know.
Wait,
I still don't.
Mega Trump launch. Wait, what? What did I miss there?
With why he took the post down. I'm assuming there's some extreme political pressure that he got and he panicked.
Okay, so here's what happened is the coin was released, and then Milei put a post up that it was something like, you know, how do you get involved or whatever, just trying to prop it up. And then he took it down. He backtracked from it, which obviously would scare anybody because everybody knows this is volatile. This isn't like some solid gold long-term investment or something like that. Explaining the meme coin scam. So I asked ChatGPT, explain it to me like I'm a 9th grader and it's a video game. So here's what it said. Imagine you're playing Fortnite or Roblox and there's a special limited time in-game currency that just dropped. Let's call it V-Bucks Supreme or Robux Prime. Everyone in the game wants it because they think it will be valuable. Here's the problem. The game developers and their friends secretly buy it all up first before regular players even know it's available. That's what I was talking about. Because I was like, am I articulating this right? So you see, you buy it all up first. So then now it's insider trading. So the developers or their friends, they get secret early access to the currency. It's kind of similar to the IPO type of game that was happening. There's no regulations here on this, and I'm not calling for that. I'm still just trying to understand what's happening. So they control the game, so they give it to their friends, they buy it up. They buy it up super cheap before the price goes up. Once they gobble it all up, obviously, if I gobble up all the Tesla shares, the price will go up because there's no supply. Once regular players see the hype and Milei tweets about it, then they start looking to buy whatever's out there. They might trickle out a little bit, so there's stuff to buy. The price is very high because there's not much supply. That's before the rug is pulled. So now it's a super rare baseball card. That's what common baseball cards aren't worth anything. Now the meme coin is super rare. Doge is the opposite of that. It's not rare. It's just all over the place. So it's almost like a super rare Fortnite skin that randomly is in the shop, but the devs secretly tell their friends when it's dropping. So they buy them all up before you log in. So you log in the game. I want that secret Fortnite skin, but you can't get it. So when you get online, they say, oh, it's all bought up, but you can buy it for 10 times what it's worth. So what are the snipers he's talking about? Some of the pro players use bots in this hypothetical video game. They're like aim bots, but instead of helping you shoot better, they help you buy faster than humanly possible. So if your dumbass isn't using a bot, the bot is quicker. The bots can instantly buy the new currency the millisecond it drops. Those are the snipers. Normal players are still reading the shop description by the time the snipers have bought up all the stuff. It's a complete scam. So imagine you're in the Roblox shop, limited time pet drops for Roblox. You buy it, but boom, it's already sold out. Same as the skin. Before your page is even loaded, now you're buying it at 10 times. Why is it unfair? I don't know. Life isn't fair, but regular people never had a chance to buy at a fair price. They see the hype, they jump in. Snipers literally control the market. And then what happens? The game devs and influencers start posting everywhere how hype it is. Man, this is dope. The Libra's coming out, Milei's into it, and you can bring this over to Trump and Melania. Trump got the Melania. Trump retweeted the Melania one, and you can get it. It's out there. It's hype. I even seen Dom Luker get involved with these. So, his is different. I'm not trying to implicate him in anything, but I've seen people. This is going to be a common thing. So it's time to kind of figure out for me, like, what the hell is going on, even though I'm not, I don't partake in this kind of tomfoolery. But so what happens now? You get famous people, very similar to FTX, that's separate from this, that wasn't a meme coin, but it was the same. Remember, Tom Brady and everybody else was involved. That's why I did the thumbnail as SBF and Milei. So now you get all the famous people to do it. We just saw Adam22. He just literally before I went live, I saw him do a video and he deleted it about a new meme coin. They're all doing this hustle. So then when enough people rush and buy, they're all watching it. Then they're like, it's go time. Crash. You take the rug and you just pull it from out of them. That's the rug pull. So when you buy the money, it's stored on your account. You trust that the devs won't just delete it. The rug pull is when the devs take all the money out the shop and disappear. So imagine you and 100,000 other players all put $20 each into a new game currency. Then all of a sudden, the developers who made the game, made the rules, had the inside trader, used the bots, potentially, allegedly, they remove all the currency from the game overnight. You wake up, it's $0. It's not worth anything anymore. And the devs took it and they ran. And that's the guy that Coffeezilla is talking to. Somehow, I guess I'm not sure yet. We're going to have to go through it. Somehow he has control of $100 million. Let's get back to it.
And it's not going to crush the whole project. Have Milei do the second round of videos and then inject all the capital back in, or at least the vast majority, and create like a mega Trump launch, basically. And I don't know. I still don't have answers on exactly what happened with why he took the post down. I'm assuming there's some extreme political pressure that he got and he panicked. As somebody in his position, I would feel rightly so. I mean, he's not like a crypto native person. And then we've been working through like, okay, what can we do from here? But like, people are saying this is a rug pull. Like, that's not objectively true. There's still there's what, 60 million on the bonding curve of liquidity that's locked.
Okay, so that I want to just break down Milei in real life now. I just gave a fake scenario. Here's why Milei's endorsement was significant, just how I told you in the video game, the hypothetical, but this happened in real life from a sitting head of state. So he publicly promotes the cryptocurrency. I don't know if this has ever happened before Trump. Trump did it with Melania, and that is kind of a separate conversation, but it is tied into this in a way. I haven't seen that before. And it's almost like, why are you doing this? I don't understand. Why would you risk anything? I guess people at that level, you have high risk. A lot of people love Milei. I don't get that. I'm not one of them. I was never one of them, but I don't understand why you would risk that. Trump, I don't know. Why would you risk any of this? But Milei posted on his official X account. I always say this. Don't ever tell me that X isn't important. You've got sitting heads of state promoting cryptocurrencies on it. So he posted on it on Valentine's Day, endorsing this newly launched token called LIBRA as a part of a project to boost Argentina's economy. I kind of went out on a limb to a certain extent, and I do with many of my takes, and I crashed out on Javier Milei. And a lot of the libertarians and different people were like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." And I come back with receipts at the time and all that. This is before we knew about this. Other problems I saw with his takes. And now, no, I'm hearing no one who was against that, people who celebrated him, people I respect, they're quiet as a church mouse right now. So he's doing this as a part of, do you see how bad this is? A rug pull as a part, and he's going to say it's not a rug pull. I'm not in I don't know the jargon like that. When I see the value crash, that's a rug pull to me. I don't know. I'm going to see what he says. But he sold it as a way to boost Argentina's economy. Bro, that's not what we were talking about when number one, you're tying the peso, the Argentina peso to the Federal Reserve banking system. That ain't based, that ain't libertarian. That's supporting wars. It's the opposite of libertarianism. It was end the Fed, not join the Fed, period. And then when we said cryptocurrency, okay, we know there's problems. Even with BTC, there's problems. But we weren't talking about meme coins, bruh. Nobody was saying like we're going to do a meme coin. So he described the token associated with the project Viva la Libertad as a growth engine for small businesses and startups in Argentina. This is egregious. 2 master degrees in econ. This is econ 101. This was essentially a presidential stamp of approval on a meme coin. And here's my sources. I've got Reuters. I got cointelegraph.com. Those are my 2 main sources for this discussion right here. These are trusted sources, YouTube. And he says this was essentially a presidential stamp of approval on a meme coin, instantly lending it credibility and visibility far beyond the typical crypto launch. For context, Argentina's public is highly attuned to economic news. He just got celebrated for improving inflation. Many saw this as Milei putting forward an innovative financing tool to support entrepreneurs, aligning with his free market ethos. People were speculating. Thousands of Argentines and international traders rushed to buy Libra. So if you are looking at the market, you have people who are savvy and you have people who just trust him. They're all making speculations on the market and he backs it. So they say, well, that's a good thing, especially if you have a ton of people who are normies. So many people, thousands of Argentines and international traders rushed to buy Libra, just like the example I told you, within hours, believing they were riding a president-endorsed rocket. The endorsement was pinned to Milei's profile for several hours, suggesting a level of commitment like this is going to be a long-term thing. He'd never said that specifically, but he's putting on that appearance. It's hard to overstate the hype. This was not just any celebrity, but a president who had campaigned on bringing liberty to the country and basically freeing up the economy. Now he's tying that vision into a meme coin, crypto token. Libra's price and market cap exploded almost instantly, reaching roughly, this is what he was talking about, $4 to $5 per token, around a multi-billion-dollar valuation following his post. So now, after that, he drew in the normies, hoping for a piece of the economic miracle that he was basically touted. And the economic miracle might be a quote there. I have that in quotes from the article. When things went wrong, the backlash was fierce. You saw people yelling on social media. I don't think those were fake. They lost some money. They argued that this president lured citizens into a trap, and Argentina has a history of financial scams, failed economic programs. So the notion that a new president's first major economic move was tied to a collapsing meme coin was problematic. The economic climate, and I'm putting ad libs in here. I'm just saying I have these sources, but I'm ad libbing in here too. Decrypto.com is decrypt.co is what I'm using now here for some of this. But ad libbing is You have people who are wealthy, well off, and the appearance is that this is basically what happened during the pandemic, almost flooding the zone with all kinds of money to the big banks. Basically very similar to the bailout, but we're talking about BlackRock, State Street, all that, and the transfer of wealth from the middle class and poor to the wealthy. This is just another way of doing that in a way. The same with the FTX too. So the appearance is you're taking advantage of people who have had rough economic climate. You earn their trust, and now this happens. So let me go back to his clip there. I think that's the basic. I have more on there, but let me get back to hearing this interview. So now, if you don't know what's going on, maybe you have some context.
Right, it's that 300 million market cap. Like, it's not a rug. It's a plan gone miserably wrong with $100 million sitting in an account that I'm the custodian of, but I'm not. I would love.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Coffeezilla's expression. He's not looking like he. Does it look like he's buying it? I don't know, rug or not. It doesn't look like the expert or the guy I'm looking at as the expert is buying it.
Of instruction on what.
And I like his videos. I don't know a lot, but he's good
to do with it. I don't have no desire to be public enemy number one of how to make this happen. I'm not benefiting from this. My life is just in danger.
Yeah. So there's a few things I want to touch on there.
Yeah.
Thanks for that explanation. The 100 million. I think the view from the public is that, like, rug is a word at this point, which is so widely used that it has like a colloquial meaning too. And it just means sort of like unfair value extraction. I think that's like kind of the colloquial meaning. And in this case, the unfair value extraction would be like taking money out. And the view was that there was no clarity on like what that was going to be used for. So people just thought like, oh, they're just taking profits, right? Like, this is $100 million of profits in such and such a time. So that was the view. But yeah, obviously something needs to be done with this $100 million to try to put it back in the, people's hands. I think that's going to be a very complicated, tough process, because it's very difficult to do that with people not further taking advantage of the situation, right?
Well, and if I could just comment, like, it's also multi-sided, right? Because like, it's a meme coin. Like, if you're turbo nuking your whole portfolio into a meme coin, right? Like that, I mean, not financial advice, but like, it's foolish.
Wait, you see the problem? So why is Milei involved? I'm still not finding that answer. I'm looking for it. This is the guy who, from that 1-minute video, Hayden Davis said, I advise Milei. I gotta actually, let me look into what Hayden. I'm like, who is this Hayden Davis dude? Because in his interview in response to this, he said something to the effect of that he was an advisor to Milei. So let's see this. Hayden Davis is, let's do this. Hayden Mark Davis. This is the guy who Coffeezilla is interviewing. I like this style where we're looking at Coffeezilla's reaction to these things. It's kind of cool in the dark background. Hayden Mark Davis is a self-described serial crypto, he just does it a lot. Crypto entrepreneur and marketer. He is the CEO of, I still didn't see how to pronounce this, Kelsier Ventures, a crypto-focused venture firm he claims was founded in 2021. Though records suggest it launched in early 2023. I don't know where the difference is there. I'm just going to get how to pronounce that term there. So let's go back into a little bit into his bio. He founded this. He's the CEO of this Kelsier Ventures, and let's see what I'm going to go through some of his history here. It's pronounced Kelsier. Okay, so it's Kelsier. It comes from some type of Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn series. I'm not familiar with that. Some fans pronounce it Kelsier. That's what I thought because it's French. But most widely accepted is Kelsier. So he's the CEO of Kelsier. And so what happened with him? He's tied into the Melania launch too. Kelsier Ventures bills itself as fueling Web3. That's the newer, I'm not totally up on that, but really newer tech. Web3 innovation via go-to-market strategy, research, and investments, but its website provides few specifics, no portfolio or team. So what they're trying to say is we don't know if it's just him. Davis has referred to himself as a launch strategist, specializing in orchestrating cryptocurrency token launches, according to decrypt.co. Prior to recent high-profile projects, Kelsier Ventures operated as a small venture fund making modest investments in crypto startups. In fact, one report notes Kelsier was a lower-tier venture capitalist with average size deals under 1 million. That's nothing for a VC, and had even incurred losses on its investments as early as 2025. So they're not saying that, but they're saying there could be motivation to get some cash to pay some bills is what they're, to me, that's the interpretation I get. That means he probably owes people some money, allegedly. This background in venture funding and crypto marketing set the stage for Davis's involvement in a series of meme coin projects that would bring him into the spotlight. His connections to prominent figures, despite being relatively unknown before 2024, Hayden Davis's activities have brought him into contact with several high-profile figures. Wait for it. Melania Trump. Davis was a part of the team that helped launch a meme coin for Melania Trump in January. Well, this last month, Melania publicly promoted the Melania token, trading on Solana, as she prepared to return to the White House, which quickly sent its market value soaring into the billions. Davis later admitted he orchestrated the Melania coin's launch, you're going to hear that in a second, as a strategist. The coin's value briefly hit a $2 billion market cap before abruptly crashing about 90%, leaving many investors with heavy losses. Representatives for Melania Trump did not comment on how the coin was issued or Davis's role. What is going on? So now he's connected to Javier Milei, of course. He's a key figure behind Libra, meme coin project, the Argentine President Javier Milei endorsed in February 2025. He personally met with Milei and Milei's team as a representative of the project. So let me just absorb that. Behind the Libra, he personally met with Milei. So what was it? If he's talking now like people shouldn't invest because it's a meme, then he met with Milei. What did he tell Milei when he met with Milei? In an interview, Davis even referred to himself as Javier's Milei, his advisor. That's a quote from him while discussing crypto initiatives. Milei promoted the Libra token on his social media site, like we talked about, portraying it as a way to support small businesses. Davis was heavily involved in the token's launch and marketing. However, after the coin's collapse, Milei quickly deleted the endorsements of his post and distanced himself, claiming he was not fully aware of the project's details. Davis has since accused Milei's camp of withdrawing support abruptly, which he says contributed to the crash. It's the blame game, both pointing fingers at each other. Milei's connection to Davis has become a political liability, I would say, for the president, and there's fraud accusations. He's also connected to Donald Trump. Davis's ties to Donald Trump are more indirect, stemming from the Trump family's foray into meme coins. Donald Trump launched his own coin on the Solana-based token. Trump is the coin shortly after his inauguration, after having won the election. Melania's came a little bit afterwards. While it's unconfirmed if Davis had any direct role in Trump's creation, he publicly indicated plans for a mega Trump launch in the context of these tokens, and that's what I think he just talked about there. Trump and Melania's coins both saw massive speculation and volatility during the inauguration weekend. Trump's market cap doubled and then halved, falling from roughly 14 billion down to 7 billion. Melania, as we said, dropped from about 2 billion to 790 million. These wild swings prompted ethics experts to raise concerns about the potential conflicts of interest and insider advantages. Who had the money? Who was in control of that before it launched? Or who was the snipers in these cases? I don't know. But Davis's involvement in Melania's token means he was linked, at least in some way on the peripheral, to Trump family's crypto experiment. When I told you, and I have talked about Amber Rose a lot, and again, I feel like I put myself for whatever it's worth. I'm a nobody, but I value my reputation. Don't get everything right. And when Amber Rose spoke at the RNC, Trump's led RNC, it wasn't just the walk that she used to do, like the Ashley St. Clair walk that she used to do, or whatever she used to do as being a leftist and a black and whatever. She's not even black, but acting as a black, somewhat of a black icon in a way. I also talked about, just from the meme coin standpoint, how do you have somebody who did 2 meme coin rug pulls on the stage talking to people in a populist takeover of the RNC? That's anti-populism, what we're talking about here. Sucking up power, money from masses and putting it in the small hands of people. And you're seeing it bear out right now. Same thing. Dave Portnoy, another public figure associated with this Hayden Davis, who is a part of this Libra launch, is the founder of Barstool Sports, as many know. Portnoy became an investor in the Libra token and reportedly lost millions when it crashed. That's gonna be brought up here too. And it's actually a very interesting story with Portnoy, how he got brought into it. He actually talked about it online on X. So he did a little kind of a little video on X trying to kind of talk about how he got involved and trying to make it sound casual. You know how he tries to weasel his way out of stuff. I wonder why he would be a subversive like that. I wonder. So he did this thing here. Let me play this. This is 42 seconds and we'll get back to the Coffeezilla. This is Dave Portnoy 12 hours ago. As of right now, it is 10:30 p.m. Mountain. It's February 17th.
Quick update from the trenches. Milei, this fucking league.
This nigga looked like he just crawled out of a sewer in New York. What is going on? Is this funny? What is this?
Quick update from the trenches.
What the Could you imagine you're involved with this stuff? These people would unlive you in a heartbeat. They don't care. That's what that represents. The sucking of money. That's the sucking of power that represents your hard work. Now, you can say you're a sucker for investing. Okay. And at the same time, they're taking advantage of suckers. And then here from the trenches.
Quick update from the trenches.
Bitch, don't talk to me like that. You don't think the topic of the tiny hats matters? Oh, it matters. This is how they talk to you.
Quick update from the trenches.
After you get rug pulled, point of view. After you get rug pulled and you're on the ground crying and you look up.
Quick update from the trenches. Milei, fucking leave this.
We need to really figure out what's happening with us right now. Oh, the rug pull. Oh, it's so funny.
Quick update from the trenches. Milei, this fucking league. Milei tweets how to buy Libra like he's back in on.
This is the second one I'm talking about. The second you could call rug pull.
On this fucking Libra. So I'm like, I'm back in on Libra. Only problem, dumping money in. Only problem, I'm buying the wrong Libra. I'm now 200 deep into the wrong fucking Libra. I guess I'm the owner of Long Libra, these trenches. I'm crawling.
Okay. Before I get banned, let me get
not
out of it.
further taking advantage of the situation, right?
Well, and if I could just comment, like it's also multi-sided, right? Because like it's a meme coin. Like if you're turbo nuking your whole portfolio into a meme coin, right? Like that, I mean, not financial advice, but like it's foolish. So I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, well, like I was even talking about this today with a number of different people. It's like, how do you assess a value when the token's not dead? The president's most likely going to support it, so it's going to have some element of probably going back up. And you have to both control the narrative of like, okay, people have lost money because they've chosen to sell, but the token's not dead yet. Like, where are those lines? And the answer is nobody can give me an answer.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be surprised if Milei backtracked, and I think Malei's gonna wash his hands of this. But you know, I could definitely be wrong. I don't know the whole situation. I do have a question, like just like a yes or no. Like, is Milei gonna make money on this?
No.
Right. My second question: are the two people who are involved in this launch Manuel and Mauricio?
Yes.
From Tech Forum Argentina, yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Kit Protocol was going to run the nonprofit or whatever it was going to be, like a foundation, right?
Yeah, honestly, like, yeah.
They didn't have much to do with it. And then
Yeah.
you were going to launch the coin, but you weren't going to do the like distribution of the money.
So yeah, I can talk a little more about that. So like the plan, like this was supposed to be an experiment, right? Like Milei has a deep desire to put everything on chain, like to make everything public, to make like all the financial transactions of the country, like he wants to tokenize, right? So I've been in talks with tons of different people and tons of different foundations about structuring what that would look like over the next couple of years. And so like the idea was like, okay, well, let's experiment with this and see how it goes. Because again, it's not like he has supported it, but it wasn't like it was his official meme coin. Let's also like make that crystal clear. And yeah, so anyways, that's a side note, but
right. So look, a big part of this is like, you know, people are trying to figure out what's going on. This money gets taken out of the account. And then there's this accusation that insiders had knowledge of the contract before it was out. All these, you know, KOLs, basically people in the know in the industry knew about the coin prior to launch and therefore could have either one, just shared that fact with other people, which is bad because it gives people unfair advantages, but two, benefited from the knowledge themselves. I think a like very easy example is Dave Portnoy, who
Yeah, this is the one that I just showed in the Twitter example. And when you look at this, and I'm not saying this to agree or disagree because I don't want to get too much on a tangent, but this is what the left talks about when they say they don't like capitalism. There's no regulations here. This is pretty much free market. What happens in the free market? People manipulate it.
who knew about the launch, like I think he said 2 weeks before you even.
So he puts the tweets up here. I don't know if these are DMs or looks like they're tweets from Dave Portnoy, the same sewer tunnel dude. He said, "Yeah, I'll tell you anything you want. I didn't even know what Kelsier was before this all blew up. It was all Hayden Communications. I feel like I knew about Libra for as long as I knew Hayden, which was a few weeks ago." Oh, I don't know. I don't follow Portnoy. Is he stupid or why is he divulging this? This implicates him. I feel like I knew about Libra for as long as I knew Hayden. So is Hayden one of those insiders that, I mean, is Portnoy one of those insiders that Hayden went to? I didn't know it was called Libra, but I knew he was helping launch Milei coin. So he knew before everybody else, basically.
Before it ever came out, right? So he knew about it. Just as a quick amendment, although Dave claimed that he knew that it was probably coming out, he said he did not buy early or as an insider. I bought 10 minutes or so after Milei tweeted. I would have bought 10 milli if I could have. That's how I was sold on this. So just to be clear, although he knew of its existence, his statement is that he did not trade early. I just wanted to make sure we had that in the story. He had time to put $5 million together, which he traded on, this coin. Then he loses the money, ironically, and
so he says, yep, I got smoked. This is Dave Portnoy. But wait, this is an interesting story. Wait till you hear the story here. This is not the end of the story that he lost his money. Yep, I got smoked. And yes, Hayden paid me back from his personal money according to him. What? So you bought in, and one of the insiders, isn't that fair to call Hayden Davis? He's the insider. How is his personal money even involved with this? So the money he stole from other people, he slid it to Dave Portnoy. And Dave Portnoy is on X right now. I'm coming from the trenches. Oh, I've got an update from the trenches. And he's in some, where he's in the Bahamas or some shit like that.
Refund him. And so that is like the kind of insider benefits and unfairness that I think a lot of people are going to look at and go this is so rigged. He traded $5 million worth of it. And then even when he lost, you refund him.
Right. So a couple things. One, that was probably a mistake, to be honest with you. At the moment, whatever that was, I don't know when that was, whatever it was, middle of the night, whatever. I'm going back and forth with him. I'm thinking, well, Milei is going to publicly support this. This is no big deal. I don't want Dave to lose money. I'm not thinking from the perspective of holy shit, everybody's going to get fucked on this. That's not the perspective. So I probably need to have a conversation with him, and I'm sure there'll be different terms that we talk about. As far as
that conversation be like, bitch, you didn't keep your mouth shut. I got a lot of money. You could have a lot of problems. That's what that conversation is. The conversation is, bro, why are you talking like this? Why are you spilling everything like this?
People knowing about the token. I mean, look, I can't say that I or anybody that knew about that, or Manu or Mauricio, haven't told a singular soul. I can tell you very few people knew. The idea of insiders to me is always bullshit, because every meme coin I've ever known or invested in or been a part of, the people that benefit are the people that know, the people that benefit the most are the people that structure the deal, similar to any other business in the world. People that are closest normally make the most money or lose the most money, one of the two. So I think that's a bit of bullshit, and that's just crypto people that are angry that they're there's always an unfair advantage if you're a genius on chain and you know how to game the system on Meteora, and there's 30 guys in the world that know how to do that better than anybody. So it's wait,
there's unfair games, right? There's people who know everything about stocks. You can be Warren Buffett. But there's a difference between being Warren Buffett and being a guy with insider knowledge on Pfizer Pharmaceutical and trading on your insider knowledge. So I think the frustration is people are frustrated that not that you're good at trading, but that you knew something, the public didn't know, and you traded on that information, which in the public markets, it would be illegal. It would be insider trading.
Right. But on meme coins, A, it's not. And B, that's what happens on every single deal. I mean, every KOL, every single one globally, that's how their main money gets made. They know about a deal, they agree to a deal, and then they make money on the deal. If you're calling out that, you have to call out everything else.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be my point.
I think that is
literally.
I do think that's unbelievably shitty. I do think that's unbelievably bad, and for everyone, except for the insiders, which is what I always say about meme coins. Is it disproportionately benefits insiders?
So I think too, like my honest opinion is like I don't actually disagree, but I think like the
KOL is just basically Warren Buffett's a KOL. That's my understanding. It's a key operational leader or something. It's key opinion leader.
vast majority of people betting on meme coins, right? Especially at the beginning, and I think there's a separate conversation. Retail traders, like that is the game for everyone, and people that get mad are the people that aren't insiders. That is what happens. That's all the bitching on socials is all the people that don't get into the deals. You'll never hear them bitch if they're in the deal. So it's like, what do you do then? You don't do anything. You don't launch the project. You're like, how do you make money then? If Sniper, like what do you do? That's always the question.
Just
To
be clear, there's a difference between doing a deal, like, and using the information you have from inside the project to make trading decisions based on that. Those are different things. I can get paid for a tweet, let's say, and as long as I disclose that, I don't think that's necessarily a problem. But if I'm on the side buying up $1 million worth of this coin because I have insider information from my position in the deal, I think that's wrong and should be rooted out.
Guys, all these people are they're raping the middle class and poor people. That's what's happening. We're too stupid, and they're literally raping us, taking our money. And laughing. Where I'm update from the trenches. The trenches of raping you. That's what's happening. Just right there. That's what taking money like this is. Donald Trump. I have problems with the values and I have the problems with Donald Trump even launching one of these crazy things. So you have Trump, Melania, Barron. This is Chillist Williams saying the trust lost in Trump when Melania and Barron, these are the meme coins, launched, remind me of how do you pronounce that? Shib, like what is it? Shiba. Well, I forgot what it's short for, but Shib when they launched Leash and Treat. So what he's saying is it reminds him of them almost copying the pattern of these other basically scams. Same thing you saw with Elon Musk running all kinds of scams. To me, boosting up your baby mama, we just talked about on X, so she gets paid the ad revenue, and you think, oh, I can go up there and get some ad revenue. No, he's retweeting Insurrection Barbie, his baby mama, Ian Miles Chung, while somebody like Nick Fuentes doesn't even have a blue check mark. That's corruption. That's money laundering. That's stealing money. That's consumer fraud. And people in Congress, insider trading, openly, overtly. Who's going to stop them? They would be the ones to make the laws. And then you see it here. It's an all-out FTX scandal. It's an all-out attack on people trying to get into your wallet and take your money. That's what's happening.
If people think these markets should be treated like capital markets. I mean, that's
Right.
what all the crypto people say.
And I don't think people should treat them as capital markets because they're not. That's not what they are.
Well, you're the guy in the deals, though. Of course you know the deals, right?
But
this is a difficult conversation, though. So what are you saying? It should be regulated by the SEC? No, I don't think culturally, this problem can be solved by ridicule and shame. It's that simple. It's not going to happen again. Of course it's going to happen again if Trump launches this and everybody's like, MAGA, oh, make America great again. Trump's so great. Oh, of course it's going to happen again. And it doesn't matter if the SEC gets involved or not. Trump controls them basically now. I mean, I know they call them independent, but that's not really how it should work. If culturally, this is a cultural problem. A society shouldn't allow this. This becomes very close to non-peaceful when stuff like this happens. I'm not calling for that. I'm not looking for that. I'm a peaceful person. I know I'm not getting involved with none of this. But that's where this is very close to that. Like unrest, like civil unrest. Not like Black Lives Matter, like some serious unrest. And they were another one stealing money. They took the money from that, went through Act Blue, and the people who were involved in Black Lives Matter, you know, they were living high on the hog. They even did a video, literally eating grapes, drinking wine from their mansion. And culturally, the left still supports it. And culturally, the right still supports Trump. That's the problem. There is no regulation that saves stupidity.
But that's your
like,
point.
but even the deals which I just like bet on, whether it's like, you know, fucking jail stool or whatever, if I throw money into it, I don't treat it as a regular stock. I'm like, dude, this could go to zero tomorrow. I have no idea. Right. So it's like, I treat it like a casino, because that's what it is.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that the people who always say like, oh, there shouldn't be like this regulation or that regulation are always the people who are tilting the table at the casino. Like I
But
hear
I think
Dave
there should
Portnoy
be,
talk
Todd.
about like, oh, you babies in the trenches, where.
Cried. Oh, Dave, Dr. Dave Soul is going.
Okay, first of all, most babies in the trenches aren't getting refunded $5 million. Secondly, Dave's like, oh, you're mad at me because I dumped on you before you dumped on me, stuff like that.
You're just mad you didn't dump him on fucking me.
It's like, well, Dave, you're part of what controls what people do because people are trading based on you. So it's like, of course, people inside the casino who control the most levers are like, yeah, we don't think there should be any rules as to like what we say or what we do, as long as we just disclose like, hey, I'm going to do this to you, you know, not financial advice, whatever.
Let me just
See what the role that I think the government should have here is not regulation, is by putting the information out. I haven't heard Trump talk about this. I haven't heard Elon talk about this. Or the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. If I were president, I would say, I don't know the inner outs of the White House, but I would want to put something together. Who would it be? Maybe it would be the SEC, not a regulation, no law or regulation. SEC putting out there. We believe in free open markets. Here's our neutral assessment of what we saw with Libra. This is what we see. You do with that information what you will. If you disagree with that information, we'll interact with you. Here's a website. Go ahead, put whatever thoughts you want. We have representatives. We'll tell you our position on it, and you do what you do. But here's what we think about these things. How could that even happen when Trump's doing it himself?
just say, like, don't, like, people like Dave, for example, like Dave A is a good guy.
And just to be clear, Trump's is a little bit different. I might get into that. I don't know if I will or not, but there is it's a little bit better than this.
Number one. Number two, Dave doesn't know that much about what's going on with meme coins yet. Like, he doesn't. He has no idea. Like, he's just kind of like figuring it out. He just figured out a couple weeks ago, like, shit, if I bet on this and I talk about it, the price goes up. This is so crazy and weird. How do I do? Like, what do I do with this?
Look, hold on. I don't want to focus on him because in some ways I appreciate his transparency and it shows a lot of the things that are going on behind the scenes that we don't see. But what I'm just making the larger point, which is that everybody who's like, yeah, we should deregulate this, whatever. It's like, this shouldn't be treated like everything else. They are also, a lot of the times you'll find the same people who are rigging the game or have some hand in the game that is an unfair advantage. It's just like what you said. The people who complain are the people without the unfair advantage. The people who don't complain are the people with the unfair advantage. Like, I think that is a true statement. I want to move on, though, from that because, look, like a lot of this has turned into some of the wallets which are being linked back to you are like linked to wallets which sniped the coins that you launched, right? So in the case of Libra, there's the wallet which Dave got refunded by, which is, according to him, your personal funds, was linked to an Avalanche.
Dave done messed up.
Wallet, which was funded like a sniper.
Because they're looking at the blockchain. They see the transaction, but they don't know the name of the person with the transaction. And Dave said, I was refunded. I think he said, basically, Dave said he told me from his own wallet. Basically, it's kind of like a digital wallet. And then they're looking and saying, oh, the same wallet that you paid, or allegedly you, Hayden Davis, paid David Portnoy with, you actually were one of the snipers
of Libra. So, but if you launch the coin, isn't it unfair for you to snipe the coin?
So I would say no. and I would say that for a couple different reasons. Number one, a lot of the times when, and again, this is like, I mean, again, it's a much larger conversation,
Bruh.
which is what I told you in text. But most of the time when I have different money in different places, obviously. But from the standpoint of sniping, most of the time when we're sniping, we're attempting to avoid other snipers getting in. Right. So whether that's, and by the way, I don't conduct snipes. I'm not a dev. I just want to throw that out there for like, I don't even know how to. If you put me in front of a computer and had me try and figure out how to snipe, I don't even know I've never done a bot.
Bro.
I don't know any of that shit.
But you're not denying that Wallace linked to you sniped Libra.
No,
but you're just saying you didn't do it.
Link to the project. I wouldn't say link to me. I would say link to the project.
Link to the wallet which refunded Dave, which Dave said was your personal funds.
That just happened to be at the time of stress where we moved money from, but that was just a mistake. I mean, if anything, because in that particular case, all I would do is like that money, when it went back into the chart, it would just flow through another wallet back into the chart. Like that money that we consider sniping, quote unquote, is the project's money, right? That's how we do it for, I mean, and anytime we've done it, that's how we do it. And the most of the time the snipe is to deter. And if there's enough volume on the project, we use it so that it has the ability to continue on. And I think that's very hard for people to understand.
I will agree. I will agree with that. I think that is going to be hard to understand
because you have like look, right? You have, and I'll give you a great example. If you look at Trump and you look at the snipes, right? Trump had so much volume, the snipes didn't matter. They made zero difference.
No, wait, hang on. That's not true. There was a guy who sniped early for $1 million. The big crash in Melania that everyone attributes to Melania was actually that sniper selling like tens of millions of dollars of coins.
Like the one that did like 84 mil, right? That one. Yeah. I mean, we could argue all day. My point is sniping when you're the team. I'm not saying it always should happen, but I'm saying a lot of times it's to protect and if there's enough volume, take some off so that people can have a chance to pump the chart back up. Because with meme coins, they go up and down so fast, these projects can get killed in 2 days. And the only hope is that you have enough of a treasury to go and try and beat the snipers. This is a conversation that goes on with everybody in Solana. Everybody that knows how.
It's literally a video game. You know, I don't know if you ever played Call of Duty. I have an Xbox X. I bought probably at this point 2 or 3 years ago. I don't even remember. I took it out of the box months after I got it, and I have never hooked it up. One of the worst purchases I've ever made in my life, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Maybe my kid will play it soon. That's what this is. So if I were to go on Call of Duty right now or NBA 2K, I mean, I remember back in the day, there's always glitches. So you go in on playing NBA Live or NBA 2K, and people know how to travel without it getting called. I remember NBA Live back in like 98 or something like that. You could pump fake and keep pump faking and get close to the rim without ever dribbling. And you're like, wait a second, that's not how you play basketball. Where's the ref? What's going on? That's what's happening here with real money.
How these launches work, that is the conversation.
Do you think the public knows that when a project launches, the project is going to snipe the project? Because being the most charitable, right? Which I'm just going to really stretch my brain and be super charitable here and say all of this money is not being intended to be profit. It's all for the project, right? I think the public not knowing that like you have these, you know, clandestine activities with these like side wallets going on is inherently like kind of messed up. And like the project is controlling the project's price. It is like a weird kind of price manipulation where you go like, oh, if it's too high, we'll clip some off the chart. Mm-hmm. And then also it kind of makes the whole idea of the team having a treasury wallet kind of pointless because it seems like you also have a sniping wallet treasury. And so, and the public has like zero clarity into what's going on here. This, I mean, Just to be clear, do you think this happens a lot?
I think I think that this is all that happens in all of meme coins ever, unless they completely die and then they get CTO'd and hopefully nobody fucks it up. But I think like this is just me being super transparent. Maybe it's oversharing. I don't really give a shit. Because everything is on the blockchain and because a certain amount of people have figured out how to game it, when you're the responsible party of trying to figure out how to make them last, because everybody, I will tell you, every single person that launches these, unless they're just a nefarious fuck, they're trying to figure out how to make these last. Like my whole goal of coming into this was like, if you want the Dave story, just quick side note, there was a whole deal where the Milei team wanted Dave to be involved so that they could do some cross promotion and maybe even eventually do like an interview like he did with Trump.
Does getting Dave Portnoy involved sound like a long-term thing to you? That doesn't sound like a long-term thing to me.
And create like, maybe if Dave had a project at one point, that there'd be like some ability for their holders to benefit from their holders and like create another like social finance thing. Like we're always I'm trying to figure out how to do that. And what always fucks that up is just massive sniping. That's the main trigger point of what fucks it up. And there's no solution because those guys just walk off with 80, 100, 200 million and they're just scot-free. And then everybody else gets fucked and the project gets blamed. And so do I think that sniping is the number one most ethical thing of all time? No. But do I think that anybody's figured out a better way to help deter, especially the beginning launch when only the snipers can see the launch?
So remember, in the beginning of the interview, he blamed everything on the snipers, and now we're 24 minutes in, and now snipers are a good thing.
Only the snipers can see the CA. Only. And they've gamed it. And they've gamed it on Radium, and they've gamed it on Meteora, and they're pretty sure they've gamed it on Orca as well.
So let me say, so I think this whole thing of like you snipe your own projects is insane, but I will agree that sniping is a massive problem for all these meme coins. And I think insider knowledge is also a huge problem. I think both can be true at the same time. And part of the sniping happens from insider leaks. Like in the case of the...
I disagree.
What?
Okay, well, you can disagree, but like there are alpha groups where
what does he disagree with?
On chain for stuff, but they're also looking for early contract leaks, and they will pay money to get those early contract addresses so they can snipe the coin.
Right, but then what's like?
Come on,
okay,
bro.
Sure.
I mean, not you, but I'm saying, come on, brother. Javier Milei, Ultra 0002 SE Pasa says, hello, in the note that came out, Javier Milei said verbatim, I did not promote, I disseminated. I did not promote, I disseminated. We'll get back to that.
You don't launch the project, or do you try and protect it? Like, what? Here's what I would ask you. What would you do?
Philosophically, I think meme coins are rent-seeking zero-sum games that extract value from the majority of people who engage in them and disproportionately benefit insiders by how it works, how the deals are structured, and by the fact that for someone to make $1, you have to lose $1, right? So I think the whole thing is misguided from the outset. But obviously, I focus my efforts on where there is an unfair element of either fraud or insider trading or something that colloquially people agree is wrong. Because if people want to engage in meme coins, that's fine. But if they're going to engage in meme coins, I think at least the market should be fair. Like, I think meme coins are stupid, but even if you want to engage in stupid things, it should be fair. This is what happened with casinos, right? Casinos, there's a bunch of fraud in addition to the unfair gambling element. And so then they got super regulated. There's a reason casinos are regulated. It's because people were getting screwed. And so I think the same thing can and should eventually happen with this stuff, although there's obviously a big push to deregulate everything on the other side. Look, I mean, obviously, I know this is a bit of a sensitive topic, but I have to ask because
let me get before he gets into that. just to address the comment for Javier Milei, I wanted to make sure I got his quotes directly and accurately. That Javier Milei said that he did not promote. What I did was spread the word, is the quote. And that is a semantic, it's not even semantics, it's a distinction that is inaccurate. And he did spread the word and he promoted. Then he said he was not aware of the details of the project. That's problematic because Hayden Davis speaking here said he met with you. The president suggested that his political rivals are trying to take advantage of the episode. Well, of course, yeah, this is the time to pounce. Argentine lawyers have filed criminal fraud charges against Javier Milei, alleging that his promotion of the cryptocurrency violated the country's public ethic law. Opposition lawmakers, including Esteban Paulion, have promised to start impeachment proceedings against Milei over the incident. I'm not going to get into Argentina politics. I'm just giving you that backstory. I really care as to how this is becoming a world pandemic. Basically, we're seeing it in the States and connecting it to Trump as far as he's doing a similar thing. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. I mean, his initial tweet was a promotion of it. Why is he even sharing the information on it? Let's give him the most generous interpretation. Why is he even sharing information about this thing? I want to know that. What's the purpose? What was the purpose of that? Milei says he has nothing to hide and he acted in good faith. Acknowledge that he, quote, has something to learn from the ordeal, including the need to start setting filters on what conduct is appropriate and what isn't. He's a libertarian economist. He's an Austrian economist. So this is all very basic stuff to that. I mean, that's a real economist is what I'm saying. He said, I would tell you that the chances of there being Argentines are very, very remote. He believes the Milei scandal won't change the way Argentines use cryptocurrencies. Most transactions in the Argentine market are carried out with dollarized digital currencies. Therefore, the Milei case does not affect crypto adoption in the country, but rather opens up a political discussion. It is not a rejection of technology or a change in the way money is used. Milei said he wasn't aware of the exact details. When he posted about it, he has no connection to the firm that launched the token. In the tweet is, I've seen the tweet's legit, with his government gray check mark and everything, says liberal Argentina grows. This is the translation. This private project will be dedicated to encouraging the growth of the Argentine economy by funding small Argentine businesses and startups. The world wants to invest in Argentina.
This is part of what my story is about. A lot of people have linked you to the Melania launch. And that is a big question on everyone's mind, mine especially, which is, were you part of the Melania launch? And was that sniped as well?
I mean, look, I think that I told you like beforehand before this started. I mean, I'm happy to share the truth, but I mean, you're asking a question that's it's just, I mean,
what he's saying is he could, like Obama had his chef go paddleboarding. I think that's why he's hesitating here. He might have a paddleboard. He might go paddleboarding in 2 feet of water and not make it out.
I'll answer, but it's factually going to put me into a lot of danger.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'll answer. I was part of it. I think the team did want to snipe it because of how big the snipe was on Trump's. And we weren't we definitely weren't the big sniper. We were not that was what we were trying to avoid. and we didn't make any. There was no money made from the Melania team on any. We didn't take any liquidity out. Zero.
Okay. Wow. That's like shocking news. But I want to zoom in on that point. You said like, well, we didn't take any liquidity out. One of the wallets we traced to the Portnoy thing, thing, your wallet or not, I don't know if it's your wallet, whoever's wallet that was, sent money to a wallet which had got sent $1.5 million of Melania token from something called Melania-liquidity2.sol. And then that wallet seemed to sell Melania tokens that it received for free. So you said y'all didn't sell any liquidity, but I
didn't swap liquidity. Didn't swap liquidity. Didn't swap into single-sided. I didn't say there was no money sold. There's a difference between swapping the liquidity and selling liquidations. Those are two different things.
Okay, so y'all swapped. You didn't sell, or the other way around.
No, other way around. Other way around.
Sold. You didn't swap.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So are those the two main launches you were involved in? Have you? I've heard a few other launches like Hood. Was that also you?
No.
Okay. Okay. What? Look, dude. I mean, this is messed up. But look, let's try to get to this $100 million. Thank you for being kind of transparent about your feeling about.
And no, this is off topic a little bit, but the thing for it just randomly came to mind because Eric July has launched the Yaira 2 comic book, and Eric July, instead of launching, he's a libertarian as well, and he supported Javier. I'd like to hear your take on this, Eric. And I think very highly of Eric. That's not any type of attack or diss. That's the homie. I look at him with admiration, but I do want to hear what the follow-up is. I disagreed with him from the beginning about Javier Milei. He took his, he made hundreds of thousands on YouTube, being very smart, entertaining, great content, just passionate. And he took it and he invested it in himself, in a business, in the Rippaverse, and launched ISOM, put it all on the line. It could have flopped. The ISOM comic book could have flopped, could have sold 10K. He could have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was a success. I think ISOM won, at the time of the launch, a little bit after, made over 3 million, I believe, or something like that. And now he's launching all these other books. He took his money, invested in himself, provided value to the marketplace, especially in an area where he was complaining about, with legitimate complaints about properties that he grew up and loved being bastardized and turned into basically propaganda to basically rotten the mind of youth and our culture. And he said, well, I'm a boss now. I'm not complaining about it as much, hardly ever. I got my own thing. You do you, I'll do me. And people loved it, spent money, got the product. They still love it. These people don't have that same ability. So what they do is they launch the meme coin and say, oh, it's just a joke. They're providing no value to anyone. They are worse to me than Ashley St. Clair. Ashley St. Clair brought life into this world. However it happened, that's beautiful. No matter, obviously she's trying to secure the bag and all that, but she brought life into the world. What did they bring into the world? So to me, it just popped in my head. I think it's an interesting comparison.
These things, I do feel like you have, been honest about this.
I mean, look,
you're sitting on $100 million.
Here's the thing. Before I talk about 100 million, I'm just gonna say one thing. Like, with all of this stuff, right? Like all these things, like there's nothing particularly, like, people have tried to say like, how is he involved with Dave and Milei, right? I am like not any person that's like special. I've hunted all this stuff down because I was trying to get to I wanted two things. One, I thought that like meme coins were a step in the point of social finance, and I think I'm turning out that that's wrong, and everybody wants to kill me instead for facilitating some of these. But I think B, I think you and everyone else should at least take a fucking second and look at what should people do and how should people make money from these. Because there's basically one way, right? There's fees, which are very nominal on big launches.
These people think you are a toy to be played with. He's getting indignant about it.
And then there's also, of course, the platforms that make fuckloads of money. No matter if there's a rug pull or a project goes well or not, which I completely disagree with.
Yeah,
I
they
completely
sell
like,
shovels.
and I completely disagree with it. Like Pump Funds, fucking full of shit. Meteora, Jupiter, Bullex, Photon, all these guys. It doesn't matter. They're just making money on trading fees, and if people lose their shorts, they're still cooking, which I think is fucking bullshit. And I've told many of the owners of those.
I'm not knowledgeable enough. If anybody knows there, I did not look that part up. I can't confirm or deny what he's saying there. I wouldn't be surprised that they're making money, but let's continue.
Of all those platforms, that it's fucking bullshit. And there should be some element of like, if it's a true rug or people are screwing you, or screwing people, like screwing people, there should be some sort of like refund policy. Anyways, aside from that, what would people do? What do you do when there's a broken system and you're trying to fix it and you're trying to sort out different launches, different mechanisms, starting at higher market caps, figuring out who to involve versus not, how to keep the CA to yourself, how to market it without telling people? What the fuck should you do? I would love just at least, right, if this is going to be recorded and go live and whatever, that to be a thought. Because nobody, the best people in crypto, don't have an answer. They don't. Nobody has an answer for it. And I'm constantly trying to figure out, okay, what should we do? How should we make money cleanly? Is it even possible?
I mean,
not make
fundamentally, hold on. Fundamentally, I think people in crypto don't have a good answer, because the real answer nobody wants to hear, which is that you're sort of like, what's the fair way to make a bunch of money selling like tulip bulbs or something like that? It's like, you can structure it a lot of different ways, but anything that is by definition value extracting from the world at large is probably not a great thing. So I think people in crypto don't want to hear that.
But then every crypto project, whether they're VC funded or it's a meme coin, is value extracted.
Okay, wait, hang on.
And I will say, if a strip club is legal, then why wouldn't this be legal? I still remember my first time ever. I have not been in strip clubs very often at all. Probably maybe only twice in my life, and both definitely under 30. And I remember the first time, I think it was when I was 21. I think that was in Ann Arbor, Michigan, or Ypsilanti maybe. And I was like, oh, okay, I've never been to a strip club. Everybody's kind of talked about the strip club. And I was like, it's not really my vibe. It's women pretending to like you, and they basically just tease you. So I'm paying somebody to tease me? Like, what? That's not enjoyable to me. But my point is, if it's enjoyable to you, you can people go there, make it rain. You have NBA players and football players, they go in there and they literally make it rain. Remember Pac-Man Jones, and there's many others. Where's that money go? They just burned it. So I don't support regulations. I fully support your ability to burn the money. I think it's just a larger cultural issue that this is acceptable. To me, this right here from politicians is way worse than stripper name, Strawberry or whatever their stripper names are.
I think there's a difference between something that has it's a word that gets overused, but utility, something that does something, a tool that purports to do something, and then things that literally have no intrinsic value at all, right?
But it's still value extraction. It doesn't matter if it has utility.
Not necessarily. I mean, not necessarily. Like take for example.
No, he's right. It is value extraction. That's the stripper example I just gave.
The company Coca-Cola, right? Coca-Cola, you could say, well, they're making a lot of money for their shareholders, right?
Or baseball cards are a better one.
But they also, provide a good. I mean, you could quibble about that, but like they provide a service people will pay money for. And
Or video games. You go in now for video games, you have to buy these loot boxes, and every freaking video game has a loot box that you have to buy to have any type of chance to stay alive for more than 2 seconds. Where's that money going? You can spend hundreds, thousands on these loot box things. I had an issue with my kid accidentally buying stuff off of Apple, and I locked that down quickly, but that stuff could have easily gone to 1,000.
they
Right.
provide something. Then in addition, they provide dividends to shareholders. So their shareholders, regardless, shareholder could buy in for $1 and leave with $1, but they've made the dividends, right? So it's not a zero-sum game. Coca-Cola is not running a zero-sum game.
I totally agree.
Apple is not running a zero-sum game. These
Totally agree.
companies that are in the capital markets are not running zero-sum games. They're producing things. That is what the value is based on. Crypto, the idea was that yes, it's a little speculative at first, but the reason you should care about this is because there's something that is valuable behind it. There's some kind of financial technology behind it. I think that's the overall pitch. Now,
But
people
there's
will
not.
argue to.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here. The interview this is great. Go ahead and finish it off. I'm going to change the topic. That's the heart of what I wanted to cover. It's not Coffeezilla's fault. The interview kind of goes in circles after that, but he extracted some great information, and that was an amazing interview. Well done. It was hard for him to hold his lip, and he did it. He literally bit his lip at one point. The reactions were actually better than him talking. He did not talk over the dude, and that's good. That's a good interview. I kudos to that, bro. Let's go and take a look at, I'm going to do one of my normal type of reacts.
All right, back on to you.
Your favorite ones. We're going to go back to the Vanguard. I think one of the Vanguards is he deployed, or I don't know. I saw a members only video where one of the Zach from the Vanguard, I believe, is going to the Philippines, I believe. But let's take a look, and we'll just chill out with the TYT, the people at TYT and the Vanguard here. Do a pretty standard react for the after show carnage.
It's backpedaling as fast as they can. Yep, absolutely. Before we take a look at the TYT clip from the other night, let's just take a little trip down memory lane. So if you just type in TYT Project 2025, beautifully, the first search result, Trump's plan is not Project 2025. Who could believe it? That's crazy. Let's take a quick look and see exactly what Anna had to say in this clip. Then we're going to take a look at one more.
So I totally believe this reporting. I think this is actually accurate reporting. And if reporters didn't just serve as stenographers for the Democratic Party, they would have maybe found out there's a different think tank that literally has the same slogan as Donald Trump, and they might have reported on that ahead of time instead, but they didn't. Go ahead,
And
Jake.
his top staffers were connected to it, including Kellyanne.
So this video is about how there's another plan that's, way less concerning than Project 2025. That, all these liberals and mainstream media and all these Democrats, they're freaking out and they want to fear monger about Project 2025. But in reality, there's this other one that like Kellyanne Conway is behind or something. And it's way less scary. It's way less scary. Actually, if Trump gets into power, it might not even be that dramatic at all. It's probably just going to be like any other Republican administration, right?
Yeah, I remember we reacted to this at the same time. And to Cenk's credit, this was before he had gone so soft on MAGA. He's actually pushing back on her from what I remember in this clip.
No, he's not.
No?
This one, he's not. There were other ones where he did. In this one, no, he goes on to say, yep, this is the real plan. I think we can watch him say that right here.
Conway, et cetera. So these guys are definitely in charge. And one of the Trump staffers on his campaign team said, they're not the transition team, but they kind of are. They said, he said, in effect, they are. Because we didn't have time to plan it. And here's a hilarious part of the story before I get to the worst part of the story. They said Trump is superstitious, so he didn't want to talk about a transition team at all before he won, which then greatly delays them.
Either way, that's
a silly comment. This is Cenk Uygur, of course. I wanted to do a little intro. Cenk Uygur, Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, and Vanguard React. And Donald Trump got off to a running head start to his presidency. So that's a silly statement by Cenk there. Whether he delayed or not, I'm not arguing that, but who cares if he got off to a very efficient start, obviously thanks to Elon Musk, who I think is running the domestic, is my impression. I think he's running all domestic. Trump's doing all foreign to me. The big heavy hitters, Putin, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get back into this. If you don't remember, Project 2025 was a project initiative that Donald Trump denounced from the Heritage Foundation. It's a document that I have read. I haven't read the whole thing, but I've gone through. It's like 60 something pages. Or actually, I think I saw one that was 300. There's a shorter one that's like 60 something, I think. But I largely support the stuff in it. So people used it to fearmonger because what percentage of the country do you think has looked at Project 2025, the actual document? Not many. So you just use it as a weapon. So let's hear what they have to say. Let's get back to the clip.
That's the main part of that one. If we go on to this, however, there's some more pretty embarrassing commentary from Anna Kasparian, and people in the comments have even recently pointed that out. This person says, what do you have to say now? You really were complicit. If we take a look at this, I mean, it's pretty shocking the degree to which she downplayed and
just for the record, there has not been any specific policy position unless I'm missing something. I started at 55 seconds, but I don't think they did any deep dive before that. As of this point, 3 minutes in, I have heard nothing substantive.
Minimize the reality of Project 2025 and, you know, whether or not Trump would actually implement some of these ideas.
Yeah, that's crazy because I for whatever reason I remember covering. I felt like Cenk was a little more rational on Project 2025 than Anna. But yeah, let's go ahead and play this because I could use a refresher for sure.
There were a few debates between the two where Cenk pushed back a little bit and said that, you know, there was a bigger chance it would actually
it was
be
the Heritage Foundation's project and all that shit. But
right. But yeah, take a look at this, guys. This one's absolutely wild.
I don't know what the hell it is. It's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme, but I don't know anything about it.
Project 2025, I'm sure you heard of it. It was cooked up by the right-wing think tank known as the Heritage Foundation, and has been such a thorn in Trump's side that his team successfully pushed for the ouster of its director, a guy by the name of Paul Dans.
Trump pushed for Paul Dans to get pushed out after he went on Tim Pool's The Culture War. It was a very good episode. He's a diehard Trumper from the beginning. So Trump is surrounded now by J.D. Vance, who has a whole dossier of the hatred he had towards Trump. Elon Musk has a whole record of hatred towards Donald Trump. Half the people that's surrounding him, from Marco Rubio to all these other people, damn near every single one of them have a history of hating Donald Trump. Paul Dans, if you're watching this, is in the red box on the right. Diehard from the get-go, Make America Great Again, thrown under the bus in a heartbeat.
Now, the Trump campaign did not author Project 2025. You might think they do because Democrats make it appear as though Trump himself wrote it. But it has been attributed to his campaign by Democrats as part of their political strategy. And I think that it is wrong to do this because when you inaccurately attribute something to Trump, when you cry wolf, well, when he actually does pose a threat on things, people are going to be fatigued from the fear mongering. And so I want wolf, well, do this because political strategy. And I think that it is wrong to do this because when you inaccurately attribute something to Trump, when you cry wolf, well,
we'll watch some more. But who the fuck was actually pretending that Donald Trump wrote Project 2025? Obviously, no one thinks that Donald Trump sat down with a pen and paper and wrote Project 2025. I think most Trump critics understand that Trump is too lazy, he's too incompetent, he's too stupid to actually craft any of the real policy that's going to get pushed through under his administration. Therefore, yeah, hence the existence of Project 2025, hence the existence of all these policy writers coming together to compile this document. To get him to push through on their behalf. Like, obviously, that was always the assertion. Not that Trump came up with it, not that he organically created it from scratch.
Yeah, Trump has never organically come up with a policy in his entire life. In fact, most policymakers do not. They rely on the lobbyist threads. It's part of the really, fucking corrupt element of our government. And TYT has made so much content over the years about the Heritage Foundation and how evil they are and how they've embedded themselves in all elements of the Republican Party, which is why I imagine that there would have been some pushback from Cenk because what Anna's saying is completely untrue. And not only, again,
So if you're not following it, Anna is on the left, and she is saying that she thought Trump was going to implement Project 2025, and she's saying she was wrong, that he isn't.
I'm not sure exactly when this clip was uploaded. I don't know if we knew about JD Vance or not by this time. But
6 months ago.
6 months ago, we definitely knew about JD Vance. That would have been 4 months before the election. That would have been August. We would have known JD Vance would have been. So that was at a point where it was absolutely inarguable after that. This is a trad cath. I want to return back to the, old school ways of American society. We have to ban porn. We have to stop transing the youth. This was the whole reason you picked.
So far, the only stuff that we've got is, I guess they're saying that banning corn is bad, is the take from the Vanguard. I'm not, just for the record, I'm not for banning corn, but I think the approach to it is solid. And then they said, the left has to go to Transformers. It's 6 minutes in. I'm surprised it took that long. For some reason, Transformers is one of their their favorite topics. Who cares?
Pick a guy like JD Vance. It was a huge signal to that faction of the Republican Party that Trump was still with you, that he hadn't gone soft.
And remember, JD Vance literally wrote the foreword for the Heritage Foundation guy's book.
They're like this. They're directly connected. That's why after JD Vance's selection as the VP, it was inarguable that it was going to be a part of the campaign.
Yeah, and honestly, even before JD Vance was picked, I think it's pretty inarguable. I mean,
True.
Look who picked every single one of Trump's Supreme Court justices. It was the Heritage Foundation. All of Trump's SCOTUS picks came directly from the Heritage Foundation list of approved justices. I mean, how much more owned can you be?
And just for the record, I do believe that Trump really supported Project 2025 internally, but just backed away from it for the optics. I think he largely supported it. He was lying on the campaign trail.
They're literally picking your SCOTUS picks. Either way, let's keep watching this. It's pretty crazy, guys.
When he actually does pose a threat on things, people are going to be fatigued from the fear mongering. And so I want to make my case on this. Now, let's get back to the director of Project 2025. Paul Danz's exit comes after the project completed exactly what it set out to do, bringing together over 110 leading conservative organizations to create a unified conservative vision, motivated to devolve power from the unelected administrative state and returning it to the people. Heritage Foundation.
That is the Silicon Valley corporate speak for what Elon Musk is doing to our government right now. Right? Leading the conservative organizations to create a unified conservative vision motivated to devolve power from the unelected administrative state. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get rid of the Department of Education. They're defanging the SEC. They're defanging the institutional powers that maintain checks and.
What is the stance in keeping these agencies? You see, there's a lack of substance here. What's the stance? Why would we need to keep those things?
Balances on the executive branch. They're outsourcing responsibilities that once were exclusively held by the president. Now it's some guy that's from South Africa that's the richest man in the world that not only has awarded himself a $400 million contract, so he's already doubled his money that he invested in Donald Trump's campaign election. He's now up for billions and billions in dollars in tax benefits. So
yeah, there's definitely a conflict of interest there, but there's nothing you can do about it. The president can pick whoever they want as their advisor. That's the executive branch. He's the only one in the executive branch. He's really the only one that the executive is the only person in the executive branch. Everybody else reports to them. And he can pick Elon Musk. There's nothing unconstitutional about it. There's nothing illegal about it. And there's no law you can make about it. The judicial branch can't step in and tell the executive branch how to do it. No different than the president can't tell Congress how to run their rules for the session. There's no different. There's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, absolutely astronomical transfers of wealth going on over here. And it's exactly what they said they were going to do. They're just doing exactly what they said they were going to do.
Yep. Let's hear her.
Okay. So that's the end there. I just want to talk about the Transformer thing again. So they bring up the Transformers, and if you go into, this is just the primer this is directly from the Project 2025 website. and I'm just going to bring up the primer in here to say what it shows about transformers. And I just don't understand what the real big concern is here. Trump has already done some of this stuff. I think the first thing is the military service for the trans topic. And let me pull that up. So the trans, I'm trying to find the section here. The military service part is basically the executive order that he did already. It says it bans transformer individuals from serving in the military. That's from Project 2025. It explicitly says individuals with gender dysphoria should be expelled from military service. And it calls for a reversal of policies that allow transformer individuals to serve openly. So basically, to me, it goes back to don't ask, don't tell. I mean, how are you going to test that? Physical fitness and occupational standards should be based on biological sex with no adjustments for gender identity. And I agree completely with that. I think that I don't know if that even goes far enough. I mean, the fitness test and occupational standards should be the same regardless, right? I don't understand why there's even a distinction between women and not. I don't understand that. So going on the other stuff here, I'm going to go to another topic, but the other stuff on the transformers that I pulled out from it was healthcare policy, ban federal funding for this affirming care, blockers, hormones. And let me say, I don't, with the military service one, I'm still looking through that. I don't know if I necessarily agree with the whole banning, because now you just go back to don't ask, don't tell. I guess that's a good policy, but I don't know what problem it solves. There's so few of them in the military. I do agree with the physical fitness requirements, and then obviously there's some health requirements, but I have to look into that more. I can't say that I necessarily agree with it, but it's not, definitely not. My point of bringing this up is this your make or break? This is what the hill you're gonna die on? I thought the left was for healthcare. Other than that, they did say that they wanted to ban federal funding. You can't block state for these things. I'm fine with banning federal funding for this. There's no right to these type of cares at the federal level. Handle it at the state level if you want. NIH should fund studies into the negative effects of transitioning. I'm perfectly fine with that. Studies you have to go and look at who paid for them. So it's probably going to be biased in one way. So I'm not going to look at it like it's gospel, but I'm perfectly fine with studies. I'm not fine with regulation and laws, though. But if they're going to ban it, that's what you're going to do. Calls for redefining sex strictly as biological. I mean, that's undeniable. I don't have a problem with that. CMS should deny coverage for gender-affirming treatments. That's a federal thing. There's no guaranteed right to that. Abolish the NIH Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. I think that has already been done. Then they go on to talk about schools, Title IX, labor and workplace, remove workplace protections under Title VII. This is basically regulations that protect against gender identity discrimination. I actually think you should just get rid of all discrimination if you're going to do that. So I actually don't agree with that. I don't like that. You should just get rid of all. It's Civil Rights Act, everything. It's just disgusting. Discrimination is another, you can say my preference. I can have whatever preference I want to hire for whatever company I want. Federal government regulations. So that's what it is in there. Are these the most pressing issues on the left? You don't have anything better to talk about? Let me go on. Let's take a look at what Bill Maher's talking about here. We'll go over to Bill Maher. I haven't looked at Bill Maher in a while. And he's always interesting to go with his Club Random is a great little podcast. And this is a while.
Hey, Club Random fan.
A while back, he had Katie Couric on. Let me get that. This was 10 months ago. This was April 14th. You had Katie Couric on. Let's go. Let's fast forward here and jump in.
Yes.
So anyway, and
Well,
it was
that
it
was
was a very good documentary. It was very funny.
Yeah,
and
no,
I
it
think
was
he
a
did
good
some
doc.
other good things. But this thing was just, it was the most, like, no one could disagree with it, and therefore it was just like, why can't we all be nice, kind of thing. And it was like the most innocuous, and I
And
was like,
then-
oh,
yeah.
they took her idea and they shit all over it until it was just absolutely nothing. And yeah, and
So this is what
I tried. I
happened.
really wanted
Thank
to do it. It
you.
was
Thank you.
No, it was thank me. It was 2006. The show had only been on 3 years. It was not like sort of some sort of cultural institution. I was nervous about my future, and CBS Evening News wants to. Yes, that's a great legitimizer. So I really wanted to do it. But
Well, let me tell you.
atheism, no. Pot smoking, no. Whatever I suggested was like, no, that's too controversial. Like, but she said that's what you want to do.
You know, so interesting. So I got hired at CBS by the aforementioned Les Moonves.
Oh yeah, Les
and he
Moonves.
wanted me to mix it up. He thought this sort of stentorian, like, good evening.
So she's gonna give some little bit of inside baseball on what happens on these major media companies. So this is Bill Maher Club Random with Katie Couric.
Voice of God thing was dated and just not, it was dying, right?
Really?
And so
Oh.
I came in there and I was like, what can we do that's interesting and maybe, we'll get some attention. And I was thinking of like the editorial page in a newspaper. Wouldn't it be
Right.
interesting if we
Yes.
did actual kind of mini op-eds by people?
That's what it was.
Yeah. And so it was called Free Speech. And
It wasn't.
and it wasn't. And part of it is we
That's-
didn't have the bandwidth. I think it was overly ambitious. I wanted to do it like once a week. You know how the public affairs person for local news used to back in the day kind of give a little editorial and they would say editorial on the screen. I don't know if you remember that,
That's old school stuff. I remember that.
but they did that in local
All across the country.
news in DC. And one of the executives said, oh, let's do it every night.
Mm.
And I knew that would be a disaster, but I was like, and we didn't have the management or the bandwidth to really oversee it. And then somebody whose son had been killed, I believe in Columbine, I reached out and said, there must have been a shooting. And I said, do you want to use this opportunity to do, talk about that? He ended up sending us something that was all anti-abortion. Like it was so off topic. And I was like, what do I do? We call this free speech.
Mhm.
And this is going to really like make people crazy. And I was like, it was 4:30, the show started at 6:30. I was like, I think we got to run it. And I got so much shit from so many people.
Right.
But I wrote about this in my book. I said free speech was no more or something.
It's a great
Yeah.
moment
Wow.
in learning about,
So you see how the news works, man. You just control a few people at top. And she was like, I didn't want to do that again.
that tension that we have. Everybody thinks that they want the truth and they don't. That's my whole life.
Yeah.
They say it, and like, look, I've been the luckiest person ever. I love my job more than anybody loves their job, and they've let me do it for a very long time. But I mean, it is a constant tightrope to like say what you really believe, and also not lose your job
Yeah.
or just alienate so many people. Like I said, I have lost people. I mean, I sometimes I can tell when I meet them.
Really?
Yes, something has changed, and you could tell because sometimes you would get the occasional email from somebody that they like something on your show, and it just stops because it's like, no, you're not far enough left for me anymore. You're not completely on the blue team, and I'm not, and I never was. I don't want a team.
What do you think you lose? Where do you think you've lost? In what area?
The super woke.
No, but I mean, is there a specific area of
All of it. Did you see that dust up on The View with Coleman Hughes?
No.
Oh, that was
No.
I didn't.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah. He's the
Okay.
actor.
No.
No.
Coleman Yu's been on my show many times. He's 30, African American. I love him. Lots of smart people are on our page. I think he's brilliant. He's got a new book.
Uh-huh.
Here's the
First
moment.
question that I should ask you to do is explain to folks what you mean by this.
This is what Bill Maher was talking. You've probably seen this. It went crazy viral.
Arguments for a colorblind America. What do you mean when you say that?
So a lot of people equate colorblindness to I don't see race or to pretending not to see race. I think that's a big mistake. We all see race, right?
So basically, it was a very dry take. I mean, it was not dry, but it wasn't like some outlandish take. It's just the typical. He's very good. We don't see eye to eye on all this stuff, but it was a very common type of take, and he got a lot of pushback on The View for trying to be colorblind.
No,
I didn't.
do you know who that is?
Yeah. He's the
Okay.
actor.
No.
No.
Coleman Yu's been on my show many times. He's 30, African American. I love him. Lots of smart people are on our page. I think he's brilliant. He's got a new book.
Uh-huh.
And it's not this far left view that racism is as bad as it ever was. And he's saying what a lot of people are saying. Me, in my last editorial about identity politics, it's racism still exists, of course, but it's much more about other things: class, the diploma divide.
I'm gonna let this go for a couple more minutes, and then I'm gonna do Andrew Wilson and Destiny, a part of the debate I did not cover, and probably the most interesting part of it. And then after that, the Ashley St. Clair, somebody clipped there's a lot of great stuff that happens on the X Spaces, but it's not as easy to necessarily clip and even put on YouTube. But somebody put in the discussion with Laura Loomer, Myron Gaines, and a bunch of other people. Very fascinating on the Ashley St. Clair controversy with Elon Musk.
And we're just not where we used to be, and we shouldn't take it. And somebody on The View, I didn't see it, I only heard about it.
Was this recently?
Accused him of being like an Uncle Tom, which I think is terrible. Black people are not monolithic, and nobody should be shamed like, oh. And I felt especially for it because I get that from people too. Like, oh, you're a conservative now. I am not a conservative. I never was. I never will be a conservative. I haven't moved that much. I'm telling you. Liberalism, I think I still believe in that mostly. They've moved it to a different place, including with race and gender. I remember Title IX and how important that was to women. Like they got their equal say in sports and colleges. They could, wasn't that title?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Title wasn't what
Title
that
IX.
whatever that civil rights bill.
Yeah.
And it changed everything. Colleges had to have an equal amount devoted to the women's team as the men's team. And then they kind of took it all away by putting penises in the swimming pool. That kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff the person on CNN would talk about when they're trying to explain to people, well, how can you like Trump? We don't like Trump. But this stuff scares us more.
I mean,
that's the line there from this whole podcast.
I saw your thing about identity politics. And I had an interesting reaction to it because I think I agree to a certain extent that identity politics, like it shouldn't be the default. Everything is race, everything is gender, everything is X, Y, or Z. On the other hand, I felt like you were being so binary about it that, how can you not overemphasize identity politics, but yet still acknowledge systemic racism or sexism or things that exist in the culture that need to be addressed, but it's not all about that. In other words, are there degrees of this that can be acknowledged and appreciated without it automatically going to identity politics. Is that making sense to you?
Yeah, but I didn't say it couldn't.
No, but I felt like the way you positioned it, it kind of ignored some of those things, at least the way I interpreted what you were saying.
Well, I mean, I don't think we have to all the time, if we're having adult conversations, first come out and go, you know what? I think racism is bad. I just trust my audience after 30
Yeah.
years that they get that about me.
Yeah.
We're already there.
Yeah.
I don't. To me, it's like it's boring.
Let's go
Is it
to
okay?
Andrew Wilson, Destiny. The debate was very civil, and then they had one moment here where they're talking about Elon Musk.
And this is what Kanye West is trying to say. Is it okay to post as much, swastikas and I heart Hitlers and, everything else on this as I want? And if it's not, why isn't it?
Yeah.
Why can't I?
I agree.
I thought this was about freedom of speech.
He was
so
goading,
he's pushing
yeah.
the number, and that drives attention to that account. And in many ways, it could have been a tactical move by Musk to say, well, maybe taking
Topic's going to switch here in a second, but what they were talking about is Kanye West basically testing the boundaries of free speech, obviously on X.
taking that down is not going to look good on me. And so when the time came when porn came up, he pushed it a little further, right? Okay, they're not banning my account. He's actually
No, that actually was not further. There's a ton of corn on X. The crashing out on the tiny hats, that's way, way more controversial on X to me than the corn.
you letting this go. How do we push the number a little bit further? Then he moves over to, okay, let's post hardcore porn. And then finally Elon Musk says, okay, enough.
Well,
I tried to do the best I can. So he's trying to.
But no, that's not true. Elon did not. I think that's a mistake and I don't blame him, but Elon Musk didn't even do anything. Kanye deactivated or whatever, shut down his account.
Fine. Musk is trying to find this line. Kanye is purposely pushing the line so that he can test the limits of Musk and this free speech on X and try to point out hypocrisy, this kind of thing. But yes, I agree. It's for attention in a big way. I don't think anybody would disagree with that, even his supporters.
Yeah. Let's turn to the Trump Elon Oval Office presser. We've got a sort of this.
Some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, if you think about it.
Destiny, what did you make of that? Obviously, it's very unusual. You've got the richest man in America standing next to the President of the United States in the Oval Office by the Resolute desk. He's got his kid with him who's picking his nose. It's all a bit random and weird and surreal. However, I did watch it all, and I kept thinking to myself, if I was an average American watching this, hearing what Elon Musk is doing to federal overspending, I'd be cheering him on. I'd be all in favor of this.
Yeah, unfortunately, the average American, I guess, or the average person just has no idea how government works or functions. And I guess weird and surreal is just the way to describe now, or illegal, I guess, is the way to describe that this administration has decided to address programs that they don't like. If you want to cut down on waste, fraud, and abuse, I don't think anybody would necessarily have a problem with it, but they keep saying waste, fraud, and abuse when what they mean is programs that I don't like.
Yeah.
And they've already taken several almost certainly illegal actions in trying to basically unilaterally dismantle organizations.
Destiny has a point here. He's testing the limits. Andrew Wilson versus Destiny on Trump, Musk, and RFKJ earlier. You just heard Kanye. So they're going to talk about Elon Musk, and Destiny has a point. It's not really about waste at this point. Maybe it could get there. I went to the Doe's website yesterday, have not gone today. There's nothing on there as far as savings or anything like that. I'm not saying I necessarily disagree, but there's nothing that Destiny said here that's incorrect. To me, it's more accurate to say it's about cutting things you don't like, which is fine, more than waste and, kind of cutting the budget or anything like that. Congress controls the purse. They can only control the spending. So what they're trying to say is we're going to cut this, and all this stuff is only like 1% or whatever of the whole budget. So you're not really saving money on that aspect, but you might be improving things, making things more efficient.
like USAID that have been independently authorized by Congress that the president doesn't have the ability to do to dismantle unilaterally. And now you've seen TROs coming out from the judiciary that's telling him, hey, you have to stop. There was the one on the federal spending freeze that not only was a TRO issued telling him that you have to stop freezing these funds. Now another judge has said you are violating the TRO. You need to stop this immediately. So
some of those have been overturned again in favor of the president. These are temporary restraining orders.
So I guess if you don't care about the legality or the process and procedure or anything having to do with the structure of government, I guess it's a cool thing. But if you care about like following the law or the rules or maintaining your government, then it would probably be a horrific thing. But
and Destiny's off here. He was very bad in this whole debate. I don't know what happened, but everybody can't be on all the time. But the president can make decisions. I don't know where Destiny's coming from. I think he honestly doesn't understand this. There's nothing illegal there.
Andrew?
Yeah, you got this idea. I've heard Destiny kind of talk about this before when he's saying, okay, these are illegal actions and possibly the court's not going to be able to catch up with these illegal actions. And so Trump is just going to basically continue with what he's considering to be illegal actions. Thing is like people forget about things like jury nullification or like the idea that you can have laws. And even if you're the enforcer of the laws, in this case, the executive branch, you don't actually have to enforce these things. There's no, like you're put there for a reason, just like a jury can nullify a law by saying, even though the law says you're guilty, I can still come back with a not guilty verdict.
Yep.
What's happening here is we don't even know what the waste, fraud, and abuse is. And so there's an audit going on, and this is exactly what Musk is doing. They're trying to audit this and get it in front of the attention of the American people to say, look, we don't want condoms for the Taliban. That was 15 million. Promotion of atheism in Nepal for 500,000. French LGBTQ programs in West and Central Africa for $1 million, right? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. $200 million 20 days in. I think that the American people do deserve to know that. And I don't think that that this would be front and center or a thing we would be focusing on absent this audit. And I think that more of these government agencies should be audited. Now, Destiny can he can say, well, technically, due to the rule of law, we have judges who are making these impositions and this and that. It's like, yeah, that's fine. But that's all part of the process, too. It's all part of the process of law. The process of law is playing out exactly like it should. Judges are supposed to create injunctions if something illegal is going on.
I agree with that.
Et cetera, et cetera. There's nothing wrong, though, with auditing these places. And for the spirit of transparency, I think that leftists are just pissed for no good reason. Like they go, oh, Musk is collecting all these people's information. It's like unelected officials at the DMV are collecting my information. The unelected officials at the Social Security office are collecting my information. Like so many government offices collect my information by people who I definitely didn't elect, and neither did Destiny. They're totally fine with that. But for some reason with these guys, no, that's too much.
Yeah, Destiny was, man. I don't know why he looked weird in this too. I don't know. That's weird. He has a weird look on his face. This one, I don't know. He's going through a lot, obviously. But I said, so I agree with pretty much everything Andrew Wilson said there. But I will add, I do not trust Elon Musk, and there's many reasons why. But one of the most recent reasons is young Nick Fuentes. He basically, somebody tried to basically unalive him. And part of that story is that his address was doxed on X. I think it actually is legal, even though it's unsavory. But that's how X runs the platform. They have taken down posts. They've suspended accounts over doxing. So that's their rules, whether it's legal or not. And when it came to Nick, they didn't take it down. So, and then Nick almost got, somebody came to his door ready to, and then got by the police right afterwards. If you don't know that story, it's crazy. And Elon Musk hasn't said anything about it. The post that had his address got millions of views. And you think I'm going to trust somebody who would allow that to happen against their site rules? Doxing is a big topic for Elon Musk. He's very in tune with that topic. It was a very prominent one, millions of views involved. There's no way Elon didn't know about it. And even if he didn't, if you want to give him the most generous interpretation, to not say anything afterwards is, to me, makes him complicit. There is a 0% chance I'm going to trust that guy with an audit of anything. I'm not having him audit me or anybody else. He's in it for himself. And what he's doing is the same as the Twitter files. He's showing us a little bit of what he sees. We're not seeing the whole thing. We're not getting even a story on the whole thing. Donald Trump has it. Donald Trump can allow access to a reporter. He could allow access to everyone. He could say, you know what, under my administration, it's going to be in real time. You're going to see it. If they set that up, he could announce that. He could go for that. We're not getting that.
That's a good point.
I mean, the reason, well,
That's
no,
a
it's
good
not a
point,
good point. The
Destiny,
reason
isn't it?
why is because these things have been authorized by law. There's a process and procedure there. The Social Security Administration was created by Congress. There is a process and procedure by.
Doesn't matter who created it. There's only 3 branches of government. So either the agency you're talking about is in the judicial, legislative, or executive. There's no other branch. So if it's in the executive branch, there are executive powers. Doesn't matter if Congress created a law. It is not possible for a law to be created that overrides the executive power in the executive branch. And that's what Andrew Wilson was saying is the executive can decide, just like Alvin Bragg decided, I'm not going to prosecute people who stole things under whatever money. I'm changing the interpretations of these laws as the attorney general or the district attorney. The same thing is Donald Trump with the AG of the country. So who's gonna prosecute it? The only recourse, if you don't like what he's doing, is impeachment, 25th Amendment. Politically, you don't vote him back in.
By which they collect data, and they have a process and procedure by which they store data and who's allowed to access it. Elon Musk is definitionally an unelected bureaucrat who is now part of a shadow government who is going from agency to agency, cutting whatever he decides is necessary. In terms of there being,
You see how they do that? The president chooses someone to advise him. They don't have a cabinet position. The president chooses someone to advise him. That's an unelected, rogue, secret organization. But if you look at the FCC, they call it an independent agency. That's not rogue. Why wouldn't they both be the same? Congress put that one there. Congress put the Social Security there. So he's saying that's not rogue, but Trump choosing someone to advise him as an executive is rogue.
transparency, all
He
of
hasn't
this
cut
stuff
anything.
was
What did
already
they cut?
publicly available. They've literally shuttered the USAID offices. What do you mean? They've literally
Shuttered
frozen
them
payments
how?
from the Treasury.
Yeah,
Shuttered them
yes,
as they
that-
shuttered them as in they tried to give a
and-
mass recall saying all the employees needed to come home, which was stopped by a TRO, by a judge. And now a lot of these programs, there was just recently a report by the head of the Treasury guy who now is fired, who was saying that there's a whole bunch of food and stuff that we ship to other countries. It's just going to spoil because now we've cut off funding and money for it.
Okay.
All of these things have just been unilaterally cut by Elon Musk and Trump without any authorization from Congress, despite the fact that Congress was the one that authorized the funds for these programs and authorized these offices and agencies. If you want to remove all of these things, that's fine. If you don't want $500,000 being spent for trans ballets in Nepal for atheists or whatever, that's fine. If you don't want it, then Congress has to.
No, they don't. Congress Congress can allot the $500,000, but they can't force the $500,000 to be spent. They have the power of the purse appropriations, not control over the spending.
Defund it. That's the way that this process works. It's not up to the president unilaterally to decide what he likes or doesn't like.
Yes,
It's
it is.
already
Well,
been
actually,
passed
hang
and
on,
authorized
hang on.
by the Congress.
Well, hang on.
Hang on.
That's,
It's not up to you.
That's actually, I was going to say, look, that's not actually correct. He's entitled to do this, and then
No,
there
he's
can be legal.
absolutely not.
Well, hang on. Then there can be legal challenges, and Trump made it clear in the Oval Office yesterday he would.
There can be legal just play this out. Play out the scenario. Destiny's obviously wrong here. Play it out. Donald Trump says, no, we're not spending money for your rainbow parade in Japan or what. I'm just making something up. And the court says, no, Trump, you can't stop the money from being spent. And Donald Trump says, oh, I hear you, but you're obviously you're not constitutionally sound, so I'm ignoring you. You don't spend that money. It's not going out. Or I'm going to get you, the DOJ's coming and arresting your ass. Who's going to enforce the court saying he can't stop them? Who's going to do that? I'll wait for you. I'll wait. So that's just a natural. The founding fathers already thought this through. What that means is the executive has the final say in the executive branch.
Accept what a judge said. Now, by contrast, I remember Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez when it came to the Texas ruling in a court by a judge about abortion medication, for example. She said that the Democrats should not accept what that judge had ruled. Right. So why is it one rule? Why is it one rule for Democrats that they can ignore a judge's order with impunity, but when President Trump said,
I don't know why Pierce is taking that argument, because AOC was absolutely right. It's not a right or left thing. This is how the government runs. So Biden did that. I already talked about that in a previous live. Biden did that, I believe it was 3 times. He did it with the eliminating student loan and then the moratorium eviction. And there was one more I forgot that he had ignored the Supreme Court on.
President Trump says, if you want to challenge this, no problem. I would accept the ruling of the judge. Isn't that democracy?
What years was AOC the president of the United States?
What difference does that make?
What does that have to do with anything?
She's not in the position to do these things. She can give the advice on it. If you wanted me to ask myself, like,
she's an elected lawmaker who doesn't want to obey the law.
A lawmaker. She's in a different branch of government. She's part of the legislature. We're not talking about the legislature. We're not talking about a random lawmaker right now. We're talking about the president of the United States doing things to intentionally contravene. You can't just say you can break the law.
President Biden did the same over student loans.
No, he.
See, I would have asked Destiny, if the president disobeys the judge, what's going to happen? Who's going to stop him?
Absolutely didn't. When the Supreme Court shut him down in one thing, then he took a different avenue.
No,
it was not the same. President
No, it
Biden
wasn't. The Supreme Court got the case right back and said, what the hell's going on, basically.
not ignore temporary restraining orders. It wasn't issued TROs to stop what he was doing with the loan forgiveness. This is a totally different thing.
Yeah,
to say that
this
is not the same. It's not the same process.
Hang on, Destiny. I just
Vance and other people have said over and over. I'm still responding to Pierce. Vance and others have made it clear over and over again. They've quoted the Andrew Jackson quote, and they've said, well, we should just resist the judiciary. It is not part of law and order. It's not part of checks and balances for the.
That was the Trail of Tears. We covered that. Andrew Jackson was a boss. He was actually I think he was the first Democrat, actually, president.
Executive to say, well, I don't care what a judge says. We'll just do whatever, which is what they're currently doing. And a judge has already said they've done with the TRO that was placed on them, having to do with freezing federal funding. So they've already broken with what the judges are telling them to some extent. And at the end of the day, there's no way to check and balance the executive if they're just going to do what they want to do. You have no checks and balances there. What are men in robes and lawmakers going to walk down and fight with the U.S. Marshals and the FBI? Like, it's not going to happen.
Andrew?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So this is an issue. What you have is an issue of authority. So Trump he's trying to expand the limits of his office as fast as possible. And I understand why. Last time he was there, they were trying to impeach him from basically day one, made up this phony Russian collusion nonsense. He comes in now, he has nothing to lose. He's going to expand his office as quickly as possible, try to move things as quickly as he possibly can. And most importantly, he doesn't trust the judicial branch. That's what he said himself in his various speeches. I don't trust them to give fair rulings. I don't trust that they're actually there in respect to actual law. He doesn't actually even believe that. So what he's doing is he's expanding as quickly. Hang on, my turn. So he's expanding it as quickly as he possibly can. But he did say that he would abide by the rulings of these judges. He just recently said this, and we don't know what's gonna come of that. Right now, he's expanding this office to try to figure out these audits, this type of thing. I don't see what he's actually done wrong. You're already panicking, but we haven't really had a chance to see what happens if he abides by these rulings, doesn't abide by these rulings.
Right.
We don't really know that yet.
Right.
Well, Doge in and of itself is probably a wholly illegal agency. I don't think that Doge even exists. I don't think they have the legal capacity to even do what Trump wants them to do, number one. Number two, bringing up the Russia collusion stuff is funny when the entire foundation for Hunter Biden and Burisma was entirely fabricated. That person's already been convicted by the FBI for lying about the origination for that. And three, Donald Trump was already found to have people who were working with him collude with Russia. Roger Stone did it, but he was pardoned by Donald Trump, the same way Donald Trump pardoned all 1,600 J6 offenders.
The same way that Biden Biden does the whole crime family, right? Pardons the whole crime family. That's fine.
Oh, yeah. How many crimes have they committed? The Republicans had like 8 years to investigate them and found nothing. How do you know? You had 8 years to investigate it. What do you mean? How many special counsels? How many
we have 8 years to investigate
They had nothing. How
did we have 8 years to investigate
him from as soon as Biden was in office? They've been investigating this guy, Hunter Biden, over and over and over and over and over again, and they found nothing. That's why the charges we got at the end of the day were for tax fraud. Well, for Joe Biden, they found nothing ever.
Well, Destiny, hang on.
This isn't going to make your points any better, and I just want to make sure that we can get back to the actual point.
Destiny, if none of them have committed crimes, why do they all need preemptive pardons?
Yeah, they all need pardons.
Because Trump has shown over and over again that he doesn't need crimes to start chasing down people, and the Republicans have no problem hunting people down to try to go on fishing.
And the Democrats haven't been doing that to him for the last year.
Give me one example.
Stormy bloody Daniels. Honestly.
Did he break a law? Did he break a law?
What
also, that wasn't the federal government. That was the state.
Are you on
law. Fine.
The
You don't
only
like the law.
time
You
an
don't like the
American
law.
hang on, the only
If you
time
don't
an
like the law,
American
you just don't
president
like the law.
has-
No, I don't care.
the
I don't care.
only
If you don't
time
like
an
the law,
American
just say
president was
that.
ever
Say, I don't
dragged through a
like the
criminal
law.
court was over a one-night stand with a porn star 20 years ago. Utterly
It
preposterous.
wasn't over a one-night stand. It was over misappropriating
Oh,
campaign
come
funds
on,
and then creating
Destiny.
a paper trail. You can, if you don't like the law, that's fine.
You've had presidents like Obama waging illegal drone programs, killing thousands of innocent people. Why is he not in a criminal
Illegal as
court?
per who? Illegal as per who? Which crimes? What are we talking about?
You don't think illegal?
That was the best part of the debate there, I think, when they had that exchange there. This is the last one for me. I just wanted to play this. This is Myron. Myron was on a space with Hannah Pearl Davis, Laura Loomer, pretty big space the other day. This is yesterday.
Going to the media, the same media.
Oh, is it too quiet?
It's just like you can.
I thought it was louder.
Based on a whim, like the conservatives don't want to call this
Oh, I
bullshit
can't
out
play
because
that.
they're friends with her. When like you can be friends with someone, but also hold people accountable and say your story's not adding up. Like the story does not add up. It doesn't make any sense. Also, if she wanted privacy,
I'm
why
gonna
did she
play a
reactivate
different
her
one
Instagram?
and see if I can get that potted back up. So I'm gonna play a different video here. I've been watching this healthy gamer dude. I'm gonna play one of his videos while I try to get that volume potted up. See which one of his I want to watch. How to discover charisma. Why women can't find a soulmate. Look at that. That's kind of relevant to the Ashley St. Clair stuff. Let's take a listen.
A lot of people who are struggling to find the one are setting an impossible expectation for their partners to meet. Meeting your soulmate does not mean happily ever after. So oftentimes when we have an anxious attachment style, what we fall in love with is not a person. We fall in love with a fantasy. Okay, female loneliness. Afraid of turning into a femcel. Hey y'all, I'm very lonely and I'm on the verge of turning into a femcel. Navigating the internet as a woman often feels like meandering through a minefield of misogyny. Every space I frequent seems to be turning into a cesspool of inceldom and all things that lack empathy. And some of it is definitely seeping into my brain. I've been consuming a lot of pink-pilled content, especially this YouTuber called Manifestel, and diving into essays about pop culture analysis of rom-com tropes and Jungian psychology about anima projection. I get a lot of male attention because of my profession and my interests in male-dominated fields like gaming, but never truly feel seen. I can't seem to find anyone who loves me for who I am. I was desired but never loved, a choice but never the one. My guy friends don't get it. They say, how can you call yourself a femcel if you've been in so many relationships and have 37,000 likes on Bumble? Just because someone is attractive, to be honest, I'm not even attractive. I'm average, but my profile...
I was just about to say, you could probably look like, let me not name any name. You could look pretty bad and probably get a lot of stuff on, so whatever dating app
is pretty
as a woman.
Funny doesn't mean they can't face rejection or isolation. Quick aside, I don't know if y'all remember this, but we did a video on female bullying, and attractive women are likely to be bullies, but they are also attractive. Attractiveness as a woman also increases your risk of being bullied. So women oftentimes bully attractive women. Attraction isn't the sole factor in building relationships, and reducing it to that misses the entire point. The woman who first coined incel wasn't fixated on appearances the way looks maxers these days are. Her goal was to talk about the difficulties in forming meaningful connections, but that's been hijacked into a superficial contest over looks and genitals and body counts and that alpha beta sigma stuff. While I might not have difficulty attracting men, the connection often feels shallow. I think they don't see the real me, only the fantasy they projected onto me. Once the fantasy wears off, I am unlovable. Sometimes I feel so vengeful. I feel like every guy I've dated has just used me to level up and then discarded me, like I'm some manic pixie dream girl in some stupid male-centered rom-com. I really need to decenter men from my life, but at the same time, I just want to be loved, held, seen, and understood. I'm caught in a tug of war between polarizing emotions. Each day I wake up, unsure which side will gain the upper hand, leaving me exhausted and confused. This is the longest I've been single since I was 17, and this year has been a total train wreck romantically and sexually. Recently, I went to a wedding with my older cousin's sisters, and it stirred up some childhood wounds. As a kid, I always wanted to be like them, beautiful, feminine, graceless, effortless, happy. But I never felt like I belonged. Honestly, they're wonderful, and it's my own crap that I didn't fit in. Whole time I had thoughts like, why can't I be normal? Why can't I be happy? Teenage me tried to cope by thinking I don't fit in because I'm better than them, which is both cringy and untrue. But that was my tomboy pick me era, and I'm ashamed of it. I did seek wisdom from them, and they empathized with me for the most part. They suggested I just shut up and go the arranged marriage route because that's where all the good men are. But I'm so scared that I won't be happy because I'm hard to love. So if I say no to marriage and convince myself this is how it's going to be and stay single forever, am I just a femcel or just a sad 4B? I've been spiraling a bit watching all these relationship movies.
Definitely
If you do a
spiraling.
Jungian analysis on rom-coms, they fall into two camps. Anima movies, a guy with mommy issues meets a quirky girl who fixes him, and then he discards her. Animus movies like Beauty and the Beast, a woman is thrown into the Animus's world and she must befriend his toys and tools, tames the beast, and becomes the mistress of the house. It's depressing how the women, even after they find their man, never really get a happy ending. They always either get pregnant and die in childbirth or get discarded after the male protagonist finds himself. Why does female self-isolation always end in codependency? Why do women lose their friends every time they start a new relationship? My anxious attachment style is ruining my life, and I'm trying to work on it, and it's hard. I've been chronically depressed for the past 1.5 years. I do have a therapist, psychiatrist, hobbies, and a supportive family, but I can't seem to escape the cycle of limerence, codependency, and isolation. I need to decenter men from my life, but loving fiercely is my thing, and I'm not afraid of heartbreak. Rewatch Fleabag, and it has this quote: I think you know how to love better than any of us. That's why you find it so also painful. Women are born with the pain built in. I used to be a hopeless romantic until my soulmate dumped me for being depressed. Now I don't believe in
Damn, women nowadays. This is crazy, man. It's hard dealing with women sometimes. This is what's inside their head. My goodness.
soulmates, and life sucks, so yay. Everything I miss about my exes wasn't there in the first place. Where are the good men? Better yet, how do I stop giving a damn about finding one? I want peace, feminine wisdom, and more female friends. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
So I think the first thing to understand about finding a healthy relationship is that it takes time. There's a learning curve, right? So I think the biggest mistake that we make is that we assume that we're looking for a person. Where are all of the good men? This is something that I hear so much, as if finding the right man results in the right relationship. That is not what makes a good relationship. It's not finding something that is perfect. Although this too gets propagated by our media and things like that. You find the one, you fall in love. I personally believe in soulmates. Like, I think that's legit. But meeting your soulmate does not mean happily ever after. Happily ever after is what you build with the soulmate.
Yeah, I saw this part. This is the best part. And then I'm going to go to the Myron stuff. I think I potted it up.
It is what you become. It is what they become. It is the growth that happens once you meet your soulmate. See, this is a huge problem that we make, especially with dating. We make all of these associations. We make this chain of causation, and that's really where the problem is. Finding the good men isn't the problem. It is about once you have the good man, or once you find the good man, how do you change? How do you make the relationship work? How do you encourage them to change? How do you encourage them to become even better? That's where all the money is. Finding the person, meeting the person, the initial thing with that person is actually a very small interaction, maybe 5 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer with texting nowadays. I don't know. Right? So you can look, but the encounter with the person is very short-lived. But then the relationship is something that takes years. So I'd say that, like, this business with relationship, the mistake that we make is we think, I need to find the right seed to grow the right fruit tree. And that's true, right? You need the right seed to grow the right fruit tree. But finding the seed is just the first necessary step to growing the tree. Then the tree actually needs to be fostered. The seed needs to be planted. We need to till the soil, plant the seed.
That's all very good. I mean, that's all on point. Let me see if I can pull this up here. I have it in a different program. I don't know if it will work with the audio. Let me I'm actually going to bring it up in a website. All right, let's see if it plays in here. This is I just downloaded it and put it in my program. Let's hear how it sounds volume-wise.
Well, the other thing too that's important to know is that like she met with she had a publicist put out the message. She had it ready to go at 7 p.m. on Valentine's Day when everybody would be online. She put.
Do we know that she had a publicist put out the message? The Jewish publicist she had, is he the one that put out the message? This is Myron talking about Ashley St. Clair. If you've been under a rock somewhere, she has Elon's baby was born in September. Elon Musk has not said anything public that I'm aware of other than woe to Milo, of all people, Milo. Elon Musk replied to Milo after Milo had exposed and said he was exposing Ashley, and the post was exposing Ashley had a plan since 2020. We don't know if it was whoa, like, I can't believe you posted this, or Elon plays games like that, or whoa, like, whoa, she was really trying to secure the bag since 2020. She had a post that said something about, Elon Musk has had a lot of women or something like that, making it sound like she could be one of them. And then obviously she was, in a way. So Elon Musk, that's the only thing we've heard from him about this. And the funny thing is, Elon Musk replied to Milo Yiannopoulos while Elon Musk had banned Milo Yiannopoulos. Milo had posted a picture of Ashley St. Clair. I guess Ashley said when she was 15. I guess she was wearing underwear. I don't know. But I think it was because of that picture. Elon, he's responsible for the app. I don't know if he pressed the button, but Milo was suspended, I think, for 7 days. So he'll be coming back in 3 days or so. I think that's my understanding. But Elon replied to Milo while Milo was banned by Elon, which is just, this whole thing is crazy.
Put him on blast. She did a whole thing with the New York Post. And then she said, oh, yeah, I did this to circumvent the tabloids coming after me. But you were able to successfully kind of avoid that for 5 months where, like, besides some people that really knew and had insider information, like, it wouldn't have been that blown up. I don't personally believe that any media was coming after her. I don't think so either. Let's be honest.
Yep. So this is what Laura Loomer is going to talk about. This is real talk. I need to do more of this because you don't get this. You're not going to get this from E. You're not going to get this from, I'm talking about Entertainment Tonight. You're not going to get this from Tim Pool. I heard them talking about it. Corny conversation on this. This is real talk right here. Laura Loomer is saying, Ashley St. Clair said, the only reason I talked about the baby is because a tabloid was going to break the story first. And I don't believe that. I believe that Ashley St. Clair potentially leaked something or something to get a tabloid to kind of ask questions. And then she's like, oh my gosh, because she all along wanted to leak the news about the baby because it doesn't sound like Elon Musk signed the bag paper. So she had the baby, but you need the bag of cash. And it doesn't sound like she's in the $40,000 a month apartment, but that's not cash in her pocket. She's looking for the bag, in my opinion.
I don't think so either. You can't dox somebody when you live in a condo that's $15,000 a month. You have
Where did the New York Post article said it was $40,000 a month, or it just said it was a $40,000 it didn't even say per month. So people are speculating.
doorman. You have security. Like, there's no way to dox somebody or have the threat of a dox. You can't get swatted when you live in like a penthouse apartment when you have doormen and security guards. Like, you have to have, you know how it is. Like,
And she's in
when I
Manhattan.
did your show, like, for example, when I did your show, right, and everybody who does your show and they go to your building to do a show, you can't even get up to your place without a building code. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even if you get access to the elevator, you can't go into the elevator to like go into these high-rise condos. Like, your studio is for Fresh and Fit is in a high-rise condo in Miami. You can't get up there even if you have the address to the studio unless you have the specific code for the elevator. And so that's how all these high-rise buildings are in luxury buildings, whether it's New York or DC or Miami or wherever it may be. So I just don't understand like what threat there really was. And also, as somebody who used to live in New York, I like when I ran for Congress in Florida and I had a New York Post reporter like do a photo shoot with me, it was planned 3 weeks ahead of time. So the fact that this was, supposedly announced on a
A lot of questions. Was it on a whim with a photo shoot? She did this New York Post article the day after the baby story came out. She has a publicist And Laura Loomer is saying when you do the photo shoot, that's typically not next day. Like, when did that happen? How long was that in the works being planned?
Whim, like the night before, and then the New York Post was there, and it was like glamour shots with an outfit, and like it was a photo shoot with full
We saw her damn feet in the photo shoot. It was really planned out.
hair and makeup. It's almost like I'm starting to wonder, like, did she plan this, right? It's almost looking like she's the one that like planted it with the New York Times or New York Post, because you don't just get a New York Post reporter to show up to your house. And if you're so scared about the media knowing your address, why would you let them into your house? That means that the media was probably in the house where the baby was. I thought you said you didn't want anybody seeing your baby because you were terrified you didn't want anyone seeing the baby. Like, it's just not adding up. So yeah, I don't like think I said, I've had conversations with her, like I've been friendly with her, but at the same time, like a lot of conservatives don't want to call this bullshit out because they're friends with her, when like you can be friends with someone but also hold people accountable and say your story is not adding up. Like, the story does not add up. It doesn't make any sense. Also, if she wanted privacy, why did she reactivate her Instagram account that she deleted very publicly after she rage quit Instagram the same day that the story came out? Like, why, unless you knew about it and you planned it, like why would you reactivate your Instagram unless you were trying to get a following on Instagram? Yeah. No, I was gonna say, I think this was all planned. I agree with the whole New York Post thing because they contact you weeks in advance. I remember when they wanted to do an article on me, they hit me up like a month or two in advance to do the article, asked me for a comment.
I mean, it's possible they did a last second thing, but these are fair questions. Like, it doesn't seem like, especially with the photo shoot, the chessboard, the feet, the bustier look, all that stuff. But I want to give a shout out to this channel that I got this from, because curating videos is not easy. It takes time. There's a value to just straight up curating videos. The channel is Think About This. So I don't know if they're Jamaican or whatever. It sounds like, we can't say TH sound. Well, I'm born in America, but my parents are Jamaican. Think About This. TINKABOUTDIS. And they just curate videos, and they're a great account. Let's get back to it.
And so, big publications like that aren't messing around. Also, she's in the financial district of Manhattan. They're saying the apartment is probably around $40K a month, which I believe it in New York City. And you're not going to get upstairs in a building like that when they have security. And, and the other thing too, that's also interesting is that like, just the timing is like, if you really had the tabloids after you, I think that was all a ruse to kind of justify her putting this down. I think she did this to put pressure on Elon. People already knew about it. The reporters didn't give a fuck. I've known about this for a year. Okay, like I know people. I know people who.
Wait, why is that, Laura? Why is that? Why are you proud of that? What do you mean you knew about this? Elijah Schaffer, Laura Loomer, Pearl Davis heard. She said she wasn't sure, but she had heard rumors. Why are you proud of not? Are you a journalist or not? Like, what other stuff do you know that is relevant? And this isn't. I think Timcast and I listened to the first segment of Timcast IRL because they're cool with her, and he did divulge that. At least she's been on the show multiple times, and I just wanted to hear what they were going to say. And I just think if you are so cool with somebody that you're not going to break this out, and Tim made it sound like this is a drama thing. You can get into the drama part of this, but it's more than drama. Ashley St. Clair represents everything that is wrong with alt media. She's a victimhood tiny hat. She's an e-girl. She's a feminist. She's a gold digger. She's a fake conservative right-winger. So she's subversive as well. And she's a gatekeeper. I mean, other than that, and these are things that affect the whole alt media. She's basically just an alt media. A lot of the stories that people have to tell about her are her trying to freeze them out because she talked with Nick or she said something about this she didn't like. She's a gatekeeper now. This is not just a drama tea story. There's that too. That's entertaining from that standpoint. Don't get me wrong, but it shows Elon's corruption. I just said I don't trust Elon because he let the docs go up of young Nick's, and young Nick got an unalive attempt against him. Elon Musk was propping her posts up, basically funneling money to her. That's not a drama thing. That's goes to character, goes to trust. It's corruption.
Knew about this in the conservative scene who wanted to take it to the press, and the press said, who cares, it's just gossip. Like, they didn't even want to run with the story. They didn't care about it. People knew about this because it was blurted out at a party during the presidential primary when people got in a fight over whether DeSantis or Trump should win, and she was with DeSantis at the time. Like, that's when a ton of people knew about it. And then I, of course, was very pro.
Wait, what? This is weird. So she was with DeSantis, and they got into a fight. Elon was with DeSantis also. So, interesting.
Trump, and so everybody was blowing me up and was like, oh wow, did you hear about this like whole like, you know, blow up that happened at this party, blah blah blah, like, you know, she stormed off because, you know, people were talking about Trump. And then that's when it was like blurted out. And I don't know like whether people were drinking or not. I'm just saying that it seemed to have been like one of these parties where everybody was drinking from the way it was described to me by people who were there and witnessed it. And so like people knew about this. Raheem Kassam literally posted the screenshots of the text messages between his friend who said, was I hallucinating or did she say she's carrying Elon's baby? It wasn't a secret. There was no tabloids. There were reporters who.
And this another reason why this isn't just tea. This alt media is as bad as corporate media. Alt media is ruled by the top 1% of influencers. They all go to these events, they go to these parties, they freeze out the people they don't want to freeze out, they withhold. How do you keep a secret like that for that long? From the primary, when we were still talking DeSantis, Trump, and people were there, and they all heard it? Why? They know you get effed up. That's why. They know that the people that Ashley knew that too. Oh, somebody leaks this, I'm gonna blurt this out. Who knows if what's going on? Oh, I blurt this out. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing because they know they'll get effed up by Elon. They'll lose their ranking. They'll won't get their post seen. They'll lose their blue check or whatever Elon will need to do. This story is way bigger than some stupid tea or whatever. I don't care if some e-girl got bent over a kitchen counter. That's not the biggest part of the story. And we don't even know if we don't even know if it's IVF or what. It doesn't sound like IVF. It sounds like she just basically said hi, Elon, and spread her legs open. That's what it sounds like.
Pitched the story that declined to do the story because they were just like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck. Like, who cares? Like, people have sex all the time, right? Like, it wasn't of anybody's interest. People knew about it. Yeah, I know like 30 30 prominent figures that knew about it for quite some time, almost 15 months now. I think it's a simple case of Ashley is upset.
How the hell do you get 30 internet people who all want to go viral, all want to get views, to not go public with that? When she said it publicly, it's not like it was off the record or something like that. How the hell does that happen? The alt media space might be more controlled than the corporate space because you couldn't hold that in the corporate space.
Because Elon has got a bunch of other women. He wasn't giving her attention. He wasn't acknowledging the child. And she simply freaked out. Of course she planned this. The New York Post didn't just show up in, 30 minutes. So with the full spread and the feet pics and everything, she clearly is courting attention. And she's pissed. And she's acting like a squirrel.
The feet pics were too much. That was her trolling. She was like, I know everybody cares about the story. I will eventually get the bag. Don't worry about that. Here's a little bit of feet. I'm in my $40,000 a month pad. I know y'all hate me. And here's a little bit of picture of my feet on the windowsill. How about that? I gotta admire somebody who will troll that hard. Here's me by a chessboard. I made the moves to get that bag. I didn't have to do OF like Nala, and I got way more than Nala. That's what that was. And you're gonna see these feet too.
Born woman. I think it's just as simple as that.
Hold on. Let me just finish what I was saying from before. What I was going to say was, because I just want to finish what I was going to say. Basically, yeah, I think this was kind of a shakedown, right? It kind of an indirect shakedown, like, hey, maybe the checks aren't hitting, maybe the rent's not getting paid, maybe she's not getting the money like she's supposed to be getting. And she said, look, I got to put pressure on Elon. He's not responding to my messages. He's not responding to my requests, my emails, whatever it may be. She probably exhausted all options trying to get a hold of him. He wouldn't respond. So she said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and do a full media blitz where he can't ignore me anymore. And he's going to have to pretty much be put in a position where he has to respond to me. I guarantee you now, she probably has some kind of correspondence with him because he wants to bring this down. But this was absolutely all planned to put some pressure on him, I think. So yeah, definitely an indirect shakedown.
Yeah, she wanted the lifestyle, like just like Grimes. Grimes wanted the lifestyle, and Elon built a house, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in the middle of the desert, so he could build Starbase. And Grimes was like, "Wait, are we gonna be rock stars?" Like, no, I got rockets to build, and she left. So
for all those people who didn't know, the inside scoop, like Laura and some others, like just as a casual observer, like I noticed like about a year ago, every single time I would log on to Twitter, her stuff was at the top of my feed, and I don't even follow her. I don't even know who she is.
Yeah.
And she's at the top of my feed, and then Elon would be commenting on her stuff. So like, man, something's up here. So for someone who doesn't even know the situation, I had an inclination that they were fucking or something.
They were openly
Right.
tweeting with each other about like
Exactly.
the pull-out
Yes.
method. They were, if you looked at the comments, they were literally joking about like, oh, I love the pull-out method. Oh, I prefer to pull in. Like, you don't joke about stuff like that unless you're like fucking somebody. Like
Exactly.
it doesn't matter like if you're like a woman and you have a so-called male friend. The only time like women and men are making sexual jokes with each other is if they're trying to smash or if they are smashing. Like, it's just a fact.
no, but the word on the street is sorry, did I mute everyone?
Oh, you're fine, dude.
Word on the street is that someone else had the baby, because I posted photos on my timeline of like what she should have been like having a bump already. And I even asked some of the ladies like, hey, when you were 5 months, did you have a bump like that? And they're like, yeah, either that's an old photo or doctor, or like she's not pregnant. It's weird.
She definitely did have a bump. I actually saw her this was probably one of the last appearances that she made, as far as even just like hanging out with friends or with any outsiders that might not know about it. But if you look back, she was wearing like exceptionally baggy clothes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's what I was
remember,
gonna
yeah.
say too. So that's why I'm saying the story about like the isolated pregnancy is just not true. And look, I've had nice engagements with her. Like, I've been friendly with her, whatever. I'm not trying to demonize her right now. But what I'm saying is that if you're going to be making statements like this and trying to be a victim, like, make sure your story actually adds up. Like, it's 100% false that she had an isolated pregnancy. Like, I remember when I was in New York, I saw her at the same protest I was at. It was a protest for immigration, and she showed up, and there were like a bunch of African migrants there. It's on her Instagram. You can literally go see it. And I remember I was there with my friend, and then Savannah Hernandez was there too. And I remember thinking to myself, like, is she pregnant? Like, she looks like really chubby. And she was wearing super baggy clothes, and she was wearing a massive jacket. And I was like, well, I can't even tell if she's pregnant because like the clothes are so baggy. And then every time she would travel, like if you go and you look at her photos, like she went to Italy for some political conference, she was wearing like a very boxy looking blazer. And I was like, that's not a very like sexy outfit. Like, the only way you'd be wearing an outfit like that is if you were trying to like cover up like a baby bump. And so like, to say that she wasn't able to have her career, as she said to the Post, and that she wasn't able to like live her life, that's just not true, because she was constantly at events. And so like, you know, it'd be nice if people would be more understanding and sympathetic towards her if she would say like, listen,
Agreed.
I fell in love with somebody who
And not even that. That's not going to be believable, even if it is true. But Laura's so on point. You can see why I like Laura. She just keeps it real. She says, well, you're kind of your Q. I don't even know if they do the Q rating anymore, but your favorability rating would be higher if you were just a little bit honest, a little bit more honest. I think not fall in love, even if that's true. Just say, hey, Elon Musk is smart. He's a powerful guy. This is what happened, and this is all I want. I'm not trying to get anybody off the scene. I'm not trying to take over anything. That's all. That's where I'm coming from. Then nobody would really. My takes would still stand on the problems because they're not drama related, but her favorability wouldn't be as low.
I thought cared about me because he came inside of me. And it's really sad that
Yeah, that's true.
we're not getting married, and I thought that he was going to marry me. And because like a lot of people have fallen in love with people that don't reciprocate.
I ain't gonna lie, guys. I didn't know some of this shit, that she was still going to events or whatever. Laura got the scoop, man.
Pregnancy and poor me, boo hoo hoo. That's just not true. Like, everybody can see the social media history and see that she was out and about while she was pregnant. So like, just be honest and say that you're upset that he was with another woman the day before Valentine's Day, and you thought that this billionaire was going to put a ring on it. Like, people would be more sympathetic to her if she was just like a young,
Agreed.
pretty girl who got her heart broken.
Yep.
But it's just looking crazy now because she's saying she wants privacy, but she's inviting the press up to her $15,000 a month condo.
So Laura, you're not even enough. It sounds to me like almost like an op. And I hate doing that because everything's called an op nowadays. But doesn't that, Laura, doesn't that sound like an op to you? I don't know what the op is or who's behind it or what. Well, we have an idea, but it sounds fake. It sounds planned. It sounds contrived. She doesn't care about her favorability because that's not what the goal is.
Yeah, she's just a power hungry person. That's all this is at this point. She's not getting the attention.
That wasn't me. Sorry.
That wasn't me either.
It's just that
People that were actively fucking. She had all this, stark contrast from the type of outfit. The big thing about this platform is so many people just don't want to say anything that goes against Elon or might even barely offend him that, we can't even really report on stuff without people getting fucking super pissed, blocking you and limiting your reach, or even people that work for Twitter doing it. So it's just annoying, but it was very obvious. And yes, most of us knew.
well, it's not even about like just saying anything about bad about. It's not even about like saying anything about Elon. It's about like people in the conservative movement all want to be friends with each other, and like if people were truly good friends, they would like be demanding accountability for their friends. Like if you want to be a good friend, you should be telling your friend, hey, like I just don't think it's a good idea to have an affair with a billionaire, and like, hey, unless you're married, it's probably
Guys, like the video, by the way. We're only at 1.2K likes, but there's like 2,000 plus ninjas in here. Like the goddamn video.
enable you in your behavior, and then like pretend like you're
like
a
4,000
victim
y'all
when
watch
you
it, but
decide
it's
to
YouTube and
announce
Rumble.
something
Like the video,
on
guys.
Valentine's Day because you're upset that somebody's not spending time with you. And again, like I said, I've had nice conversations with her. Like I'm not trying to demonize anybody, but you can't say I'm logging off. And if she would have just left it at, oh, I'm logging off and I want privacy, people probably wouldn't have cared. But when she did the New York Post spread the next day with the feet pics and like the weird chessboard with the misplaced.
Everybody talking about the feet pics. Those feet, man, those are the most infamous feet because everybody's like, damn, you really comfortable right now.
Chess pieces and all this like personal information. It's just like, do you want privacy? Because people who want privacy don't create Instagram accounts and invite the media into their house.
Well, what I think it is that she recognizes that Musk is failing. I mean, X has lost 80% of its value since he bought it. He's ruined his brand name.
X isn't failing.
Tesla, its price to earnings is about 17x out of other car manufacturers because it's valued as a technology company. And the grift is coming to an end. I think that, there's probably going to be prison time. He's probably going to lose a significant amount of his money. So she's trying to get the bag before he goes bankrupt. And that's probably what I would say.
Bro,
yeah, that's a dumb. I don't know who is that. That's stupid. It's just so. You know how hard it would be to imprison that dude.
Not going bankrupt, bro. You're delusional.
Yeah, that's
You're
like the
delusional,
most
bro.
low IQ take I've ever heard.
Yeah, Dr. Davinsky. Look. Hold on. Yo. Look.
Shut up, Destiny.
Yo, look. I'll just be honest about
Bro,
this.
shut the fuck up, you
I
fucking
definitely.
Destiny,
Why the fuck? Hold on, guys.
Bro,
guys.
you spent $200 fucking dollars on some Mexican hookers.
Yo.
You think you're a chat.
Yo.
I paid
Yo.
$60 for 2 seasons.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Shut up, Davinsky.
Yo, co-host, you guys gotta like fucking. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
What I was gonna say was, Davinsky, bro. Look, man. Elon Musk is the richest guy in the world. I've had my issues with Elon Musk personally. Like he's fucking took my verification check for some bullshit for talking about H1Bs, demonetized me, took my subscribers, whatever. I have a huge axe to grind with him, right? I could make that excuse to have a huge axe to grind. But to sit there and say that he's going to be bankrupt and he's going to go to jail, that's just delusional, bro. It's not going to happen, bro.
This has not. He's only getting more powerful. He's going to become a trillionaire in the next month because of his proximity to President Trump. Within the first 2 months of President Trump winning re-election, his overall net worth combined for his multiple companies exceeded over $650 billion. In addition to what he already had, like he's not in any shortage of money. Like that's not. But what this is about jealousy. It's very simple. It's not like 4D chess or 10D chess or whatever the fuck people want to pretend with all this chess, okay? It's very, very simple and it's very easily explained. It's just female nature. She got pregnant. She's probably still dealing with the hormonal imbalance of having a baby and like your hormones readjusting after you have a baby. That's just fact. And she saw a man, like the man that she's in love with, at the White House with another woman and their children. And she probably didn't get any flowers or any like type of loving message on Valentine's Day. And if there's one thing that makes a woman go fucking crazy, it's not just seeing her man with another man or the man that she wishes she could have with another woman. It's literally getting rejected on Valentine's Day, the day that you're supposed to be validated if
with his baby too. Eesh.
You are the one. Okay, this is why so many people lose their shit on Valentine's Day. So that's what it was all about. Like she probably
you can you know, just from afar, I think a woman, obviously speculation, I'm not a woman. I think a woman can go into something thinking that they will get a payday, and nature, basically our survival instincts say from a woman, you still want the father protection, even though you went into it for a payday, allegedly, potentially, I'm just doing hypothetically, you could still catch feelings because your natural instincts are, I don't care if I'm getting $40,000 for this special apartment or condo or whatever else special things I'm getting. Let's say I get the money for the monthly annuity until the boy is 18. I still don't have the father. And that might be a natural instinct. Who knows?
thought like, and I'm not speaking for her, but it probably really honestly boiled down to, he better do something for me for Valentine's Day or else I'm going to have this message ready to go. It's just like, it's very, and then you could see Elon didn't even acknowledge her even after she blew him up online, but he acknowledged Siobhan, the other woman. She posted the photos of their babies together, even amidst the controversy. Like most women would be upset and be like, oh, you have another woman that you impregnated? Like, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you. Even amidst like a viral scandal, his other baby mama posted a photo of them at the White House. And then not only are they like posting lovey-dovey heart emojis and kissy emojis back and forth, but then the grandmother, his mother is like posting it too. So like, obviously she's clearly not accepted by the mother. She's clearly like not accepted by the other baby mamas. And so there's probably, some resentment. Like anybody would feel resentment. I'm not taking her side on this. I'm just simply saying that it's very easy to see what's going on here. It's jealousy. And most women, when they feel like they're being when women feel like they're being replaced, like a lot of times they lash out. It's just human nature.
Daily Wire right now is saying that CEO Jeremy Boring is saying that we've all made mistakes, so we shouldn't criticize Elon and Ashley St. Clair.
But it's not a mistake. Like they planned it. You can clearly see they wanted a baby. She was a single mom posting on the timeline about how like she was a single mom and wanted to have another baby, but because she was a single mom, she didn't know if she would have another baby. And then he replied to one of her long tweets and said, "That's a beautiful story. I hope you have more children." And then she said, "Thank you, me too." Like this was all very coordinated. And if you read anything about the way that Elon conceives his kids, I'm not even saying that sex was involved. I don't know. I'm not there. I didn't see it. But a lot of the ways like he's conceived children with women in the past, if you read about it, is through IVF. And there's reports about how he's like offered his seed to women he's worked with simply because like he wants to have other kids, not because he wants to be romantically involved with them, but because like he wants to have a lot of children. So we don't even know if I'm not saying that we don't know if they had sex. She said it was a romance, so I'm assuming they had sex. But like for all we know, it could have just been an IVF baby.
Myron, what's your take on it, on the Daily Wire stuff?
Well, I'm not surprised. Jeremy Boring, Alex Jones, all of them kind of came to Elon Musk's defense. It's kind of funny because there's a group of people on X that like will never say anything like negative about Elon, right? Because they're scared of maybe getting demonetized or getting retribution, because obviously we've been able to see that if you piss Elon off or you say something that he doesn't like, he will demonetize you, he will come after you, he will take your subscribers away. So I'm not surprised that Jeremy Boring and Alex Jones both, didn't want to say anything. Alex Jones made a really pitiful post earlier. I even commented on, like, damn, bro, like, what the fuck, man? But yeah, it is what it is, man. Like, it's sad to see sometimes.
Yeah. Can I jump in here?
Very sad and disappointed with Alex Jones. I don't know if he was like this the whole time or what's going on, if it was the lawsuits or whatever pressing him up to get more money, but he has turned into a complete embarrassing shill.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the most disturbing thing about this is you ain't gonna make no money on X unless you fucking Elon. That's just the reality.
The payouts, bro. That's what I was gonna bring up.
Bro.
Like, these women can't, like,
Bro, that's the take. I've been waiting for somebody to say the take. That's the take. It's that simple.
the power shut the fuck up is so good that if you just, ladies, if you're getting good payouts and you're fucking somebody, just stay quiet.
Yeah, she got 17,000 for this past 2 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah, everyone's gonna start thinking, "Oh, you're next. You're just the next girl. Just stay quiet."
She done.
Did she post her payment?
Here's the thing. She
posted.
she posted the payment.
Let me look for it.
There's 17 grand.
When did she? Well, I thought that was an old one though. The one that was going around. The old.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
No, I'm not justifying it. I mean, obviously,
it went from $500 to 17,000.
Chat, I'm gonna leave this space in a little bit, so I won't be here much longer. But there's some.
It wasn't 17,000. It was it was 7,500 in 2 weeks. That was in. I think it was after the baby was born. It was in September. It was September to October. So it had to have been at least some of it. The baby was born in September, so some of it was after the baby was born.
Some stuff here I didn't know about, man. That they're definitely
making no 5 figures on X.
That they're talking about.
She misplayed her hand. So you know what I'm saying? She was in his good graces. However they had the baby, whether he fucked her or whether it was IVF, she was in his good graces. And now she come out with this shit on Valentine's Day. Like, I mean, you could just tell she don't have no way of playing her position, and a lot of women can learn from this shit. If you dealing with a dude like Elon who got money like that, and then he got baby mamas the way that he do, you just need to play your position and shut the hell up. To those type of men, that's loyalty. So
who is this? Who's that talking?
Already showed that she was disloyal by going to the media. I mean, if it was me, I wouldn't take her back. But, he might take her back, just because he's in the public eye. He has to make it look good. And he might take her back in some type of capacity.
I don't think he's gonna take her back because she's.
I'm not saying he's taking her back.
She's getting in for a second kid now. You know what I mean? To make sure it's more secure, so he's gonna stay away from that pussy for a while.
Yeah, I'm not saying he gonna keep messing with her like that, but he gonna make it look good for the press, so he doesn't look as bad because the way she putting him out there. He gonna have to do some type of damage control. I think the biggest issue is he need to unleash the payment. He need to unleash the algorithm. He need to stop. Censoring accounts that speak about him or things that he don't agree with. That's just not fair. That's not what the platform was supposed to be when he acquired it. And he need to stop tricking on these hoes. If you want to pay them, he need to pay them out of his own pocket and not use X to send money to the bitches that he fucking. Because that's getting whacked too, and it's a paper trail. And it.
Yes, sir.
It don't look good, and you're supposed to be a leader in a position where he's supposed to be making our government more efficient. And although we like some of the things that he's doing over there, that doesn't mean that he don't need to keep it.
If you happen to come across this video and have any idea who that is that's talking, I don't know if they're an influencer or what. I want to follow them. The only person that I felt has spoken for me in this whole thing is this bro right here.
Guys, follow the sex. Follow this.
That's how you do it. No paper
TikTok.
trail.
Ban Mara Gaines now. Follow it, chat.
Out in public where you're literally paying bitches through the X algorithm.
But let's be honest. I'm not
they are not creative at all. They're not creative at all.
Dude, replaying.
They're not making any controversial tweets or anything. So
I'm not trying to sound like petty.
One at a time.
That's the guy who just said that Elon Musk is going to go broke. Just FYI, that's an actual photo of him up in the nest. If y'all want to get a good laugh.
So,
Hey guys, can I jump
Myra,
in? Any chance I could jump in, say a few words?
Yeah, Maya, go ahead. Yeah, Maya, go ahead. Yeah, you
Okay.
for a while.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
Yeah, no problem. So, hi everyone. My name is Maya Poet. For those who don't know me, I'm a detransitioner, and I'm 25 years old, and I'm trying to, fight for the innocence of kids, and there's a lot of Elon drama going around, and what's a little bit disappointing to me is the fact that, there was a really, really big deal. There was something that happened to Elon, and specifically to one of his children, that I'm surprised didn't go more viral. I mean, it was in the news for a couple days, and it was the fact that his son Xavier was basically, was transitioned, and that Elon, even being the world's richest man, was basically sucker punched into the lies of gender medicine of either you castrate your kid or he's going to off himself. And I just think,
Well, he always has been like a corporate leftist. So whatever the corporate told him, he was willing to do up until it looks like around 2020.
I just think it's a little bit sad that this baby mama drama is the thing that captivates the headlines the most. When in regards to Elon drama, when there's this scourge, there's this big attack on our young people, and it's a cult that I succumbed to as well as a youngster. So maybe that's why I feel it to be more prudent, but I do think that there is something to be said about the difficulties of having children with multiple mothers, many children with multiple mothers. And I presume that, when he was in that appointment, I mean, Xavier was one of his many kids. So I'm guessing that, the mom was like, we need both parents to sign off on this. Can you come? And so he just, he read the papers, and yeah, obviously the doctors lied to him, but the biggest protection I think that a kid could have against this brutal ideology is really to have
you can't make this up,
parents
chat.
who are critical thinkers.
Look at this.
And unfortunately, there are a lot of lies being told to parents, in regards to this transgender thing. And some of these lies I've spoken about in this video that I just posted up here as I was testifying against the bill. So I would really appreciate it if those of you who are parents could.
Well, I don't know if it's a he or she. This person is talking. Myron, it sounds like a she. Myron posts the profile, and it says, "I write about gender in Israel."
Just watch this video, possibly share it.
Bro,
with
you
other
can't make this
parents,
shit up,
because
chat.
There is this big.
Can't make this up.
What? How did they turn this into a fucking transgender?
Yeah,
Hey, bro,
it was just too off topic.
Promoting himself. Hey,
Look at a shameless plug.
Look, here's the reality. Elon is a rich simp. He don't know how to deal with bitches. The only way he know how to deal with bitches in the capacity of financial. So he paying bitches. He doesn't know how to vet them. And the reason why his kid is trans right now is because he didn't vet the baby mama, and he didn't spend enough time with that young man. A young boy especially needs his father to teach him how to be a man, or some man, uncle, goddamn.
Hold on, if you have 13 kids, you don't think there's a chance that one of them turns out a little bit different?
Hell nah, hell.
If you have
People were
more
having 16 kids back in the day.
Hit it right, but
My great grandmama had 13 kids. My great grandmama had 13 kids. Ain't none of them gay. Ain't none of them nothing. Okay, so
none of them are gay. Out 13.
Follow the 6 niggas.
None of them are gay.
11K.
And they all had children. Bro, I'm telling you, back in the day, they was
you
having
did a great job. That's pretty good odds. Normally, if you got a big family, one person's all fruity. Let's be honest.
Let's
Cousins,
stop
everybody.
it.
Guys, you guys are going off topic. You guys are talking about the probability of having trans children now. That's not what we're talking about. All right.
Guys, also like the video, man. We're only at 1.3K likes. We got 2,100 you guys in here. Like the goddamn video. I'm in here in this goddamn space chat with these retards. I need you guys to like the goddamn video. I'm about to leave this shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie though. And I'm probably gonna go another 8 minutes or so. Give it 3 hours for the stream, and then we're gonna call it a day. But yeah.
And that is what needs to be being discussed right here, because this is bad for business. At the end of the day, he has the ear of the president. He's at the right hand of the president. He's literally, in the Oval Office talking to reporters. He's right there, and then he got all this drama. It's not good. You know what I'm saying? It's bad for business. So he needs somebody who's real real player, who come in and say, "Hey, bro, we can mop this shit up real quick."
Are you gonna make the same thing for the third time? The same point?
Yeah, I think.
Well, you ain't making no points, motherfucker. So what the hell?
Nobody else can make a point.
At the end of the day,
all right, I'm gonna, guys, we can't all talk over each other. I wanted to give the floor to I added candidate for governor of Florida 2026, and I also want to ask Myron the same thing. What have you seen in terms of two-facedness in conservative politics? Like, what is your experience with, like,
We got 1,300 people in here,
Ashley
chat.
St. Clair, she had
1,300 in here,
she
chat.
was another. I found
In
that
this
to be
Twitter
really
space.
consistent in conservatives, but I wanted to know you guys' point of view.
Sorry, did I double mute?
Sorry,
double
I
mute? Sorry.
am muted. Sorry, I realized I muted. Go ahead.
He can go first.
Is that Matt?
Yeah,
I think.
Not that anyone asked me, but it's
I think
like
he dropped, but yeah, go ahead.
not that anyone asked me, but the
Matt's still here.
I know I'm personal friends with probably, I don't know, 20, 30 pretty prominent influencers. And I can just tell you, the people that are pushing conservative values most of the time are pushing it on Twitter, and they're doing almost the precise opposite in real life. They are drinking, they are having premarital sex, they are, in often cases, smoking marijuana, doing drugs. They don't live in a traditional life in any sense. They live like, just basic, I don't want to call them all degenerates, but they certainly don't live aligned with the principles that they espouse. And it's rampant. It does. You just pick someone, and chances are that's how it is. And even some of these people that are like prominent Christian figures and things like that, they cheat on their wives and fuck strippers and half of them do gay stuff and everything. I mean, it is perhaps the most hypocrisy-filled group that I've ever been involved in. Really, I don't know if that's everyone else's experience, but it's fucking crazy.
I could speak to this real quick, and this is the beauty of me coming from like a more dating space slash, because obviously I do the political stuff too, but that's not like my focus, right? So like I do more cultural stuff, dating. So for me, right, I didn't have to have this very rigid right-wing conservative viewpoint and values to be able to build an audience. So I think for a lot of these people, right, they obviously have to say one thing and do certain things to build an audience, but then in their real and personal life, they do a bunch of fuck shit, which I've seen at some of these RNCs and AmFest, whatever it may be. So yeah, I mean, definitely they be doing some bullshit, and luckily for me, right, like when people try to sit there and say, oh, well, Myron, you talk about having multiple girlfriends and you talk about getting laid and 50 bodies and shit. And I'm like, yeah, I've been talking about this for fucking years. Like, I haven't changed my views, right? I do obviously talk a lot about the nuclear family and how important it is. But at the same time, I understand that building a nuclear family in 2025 with a lot of these women, quite frankly, isn't a good idea because a lot of them are hoes. I mean, you look at someone like Ashley St. Clair who poses a trap thought, right? That's an average looking chick that would have a lot of guys fooled. And they'd be like, oh, shit.
Yep. She's just very good at Instagram. It's almost like she's got help or something, or she's great herself. And she is mid. She's like the definition of mid. And she got Elon Musk.
She'd be a trad wife, but they don't know that she used to be a 3 or 4, do drugs, all this other shit. So I think like obviously conservative values are awesome and it's great. But the reality is it's very difficult for you as a man to be a real conservative and navigate the sexual marketplace effectively in a first world Western country, unless you know what the fuck you're doing. And quite frankly, I hate to say it, but the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran is not going to prepare you for modern women. You got to get out there and experience shit. And that's kind of where I differ with them because I'm not just a political.
Whoa. I do disagree with that. I don't know about the Quran or Torah or whatever, but the Bible will give you everything you need.
Commentator. I cover other things as well. And I've never, sat there and said, oh yeah, I'm a devout religious person. Like, nah, man, I'm realistic.
Yeah, so at some point along the way here, the conservative right wing of the Republican Party has adopted, Christian Judeo ideologies.
Christian Judeo is fake.
What's that?
Christian Judeo is fake.
No, exactly, 100%. But what I'm saying is they adopted that, right? And so every conservative politician now, every conservative influencer has to act like there's some, Bible thumping, Jesus loving, pure person, and they're not sinning at all. When in all reality, that's like an impossible standard for anybody to meet because everybody falls short of the glory of God. Everybody makes mistakes, and we're all humans. But the problem with the conservative movement is that they're
But
portraying.
you have to stop saying that. This wasn't. Why is everyone acting like this is a mistake? This was planned. Like, stop acting like this is a victim.
Yeah.
This was planned.
No, we're
They
not talking
didn't. They
about
didn't. They plan. Yeah, they planned the pregnancy.
Yeah, no,
like
of course. We're
it's
not-
planned.
I'm
But
not
why do
talking
people?
about that,
Why
but-
do people keep saying like it's a mistake? It's not a mistake. Like, this is a classic case of a woman that wanted to like baby trap a billionaire, and now she's just jealous she's not the one that's getting a wedding ring, so she's lashing out. Like, this isn't a mistake. She wanted a baby from a rich man.
No, 100%. Yeah, I'm not talking about Ashley. I'm not talking about Ashley.
Yeah, but so many conservatives are like, oh, mistakes happen. Like, yeah, like that's why you get on fucking birth control.
No.
Yeah.
You're no.
I mean, like, I knew about pregnancy all the way back in June myself.
Yeah, like everybody, but
freaking
everybody
a tiny account.
knew about it. My point is like it's not a mistake. Like, when people plan it, like what's happening is it's like people having unfulfilled expectations that were made up fantasies in their own mind, and so they're lashing out and having an emotional reaction because their love life isn't going the way they want it. Like, they very clearly have exchanges with
It's
each
hilarious
other
that Laura
talking about,
interrupted
like,
that Matt guy
engaging
because he
in
is a
sexual
retard.
activity. Like, this is clearly not like an accidental pregnancy.
Dude said Judeo-Christian values. Bro, anyone that says Judeo-Christian values, just they're retards, chat. Anyone that says Judeo-Christian values
Or ignorant, because I've used the term before until I started digging into it.
is a fucking retard. And it's hilarious that she interrupted this guy, Matt, because he's an idiot. And he tried to sit there and argue with me on a space over JFK, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So, yeah, W interruption for that one.
Ruin what he's doing with Doge, what he's doing with helping President Trump, what he's doing.
Anyway, I'm gonna dip out, man. I'm gonna leave the space. Chat, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm out, man. I'm gonna leave. I know y'all wanted me to join, but I'm gonna dip out now.
Musk at this point is the.
All right. So let's.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.